And welcome everybody to November 28th, episode 125 of Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. And if you didn't know we were coming on today, surprise!
We're worse than Notre Dame. You never know.
So, of course, I'm your co-host, Steve, and always joined by
Charles.
And via satellite, BV. How you doing, Bill?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
All right, so everyone's here. We got some new Pizzahut Beyond Pizza today, so give that a try. We're going to preview the fight tonight. Some movies.
Steve's gonna puke on his mic.
I got a hiccup. Of course, no hiccups all day. Nah, I got the hiccups
right as the show goes live.
Are we kidding right now?
You're like a hobo in a Disney cartoon.
I just need that stick with the sack at the end of it.
A bindle is what that's called. Ironically,
oh man, the hobo
the
sack.
Things I learned from my wife is I learned a bindle.
So we usually cover a lot of COVID stuff, but this week we're gonna go a little positive. We're gonna start the show off on a
positive. COVID positive.
Well, there is a lot of that too. But congratulations to Anna Maxwell, Bob Maxwell, and Jody Maxwell, friends of the podcast. Their daughter has signed a deal to go to Maryville University in Missouri. She's got a academic.
So she's officially committed.
Oh yeah, I've seen the pictures that she signed the whatever the contract or whatever it is, and she is committed to go there. She got an athletic and an academic scholarship, so good for her.
Congratulations, Bob and Anna. Yeah, congratulations.
So I did talk to Bob.
I know they worked very hard.
Yes,
admittedly. One of the things you don't see when you see all these kids is how hard the parents work behind the scenes on top of the kids' performance alone. Bob put in the work. Congratulations, and well deserved for him and his family. And I hope she's successful in all that she does.
So he's got no daughter for 4 years. She's in Missouri.
Missouri, huh? Like what part of Missouri is it?
That I don't know. Maryville University.
It's in St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. All right.
I don't want to tell you. So I've been to St. Louis before. St. Louis is sketchy, son. Oh my.
Stay on campus.
Yeah, stay.
I've been there as well.
And what is the BV theory on St. Louis?
It's you better stay downtown.
Yeah, and right in the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
I remember. So it's St. Louis. Again, I don't know why I'm talking to Bob. If you're listening, congratulations to your daughter. I don't want to be negative. I want to say congratulations, but it's like how it is here. You land outside of the city center, and you have to bus in. Ooh, mama. It is a lot like Detroit. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, but anyways, but
congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
And she's also got $10,000 in winnings from bowling over the couple years. So.
Is she allowed to take that money?
Yeah. What?
Is it scholarship money? It must be scholarship money.
No, it's winnings from tournaments and stuff from high school and stuff like that.
How does she not lose her?
Well, maybe I stopped talking. But anyways,
are you just citing a violation?
I'm pretty sure it's all legit stuff.
Okay.
So
hopefully it's scholarship money.
Yeah, and I didn't ask. I forgot what Bob said she wanted to do for a living. It's not a teacher though. It's something with sports medicine. I believe is what she wants to do, like a sports therapist or something.
Oh, she's going full D1 athlete when you're doing sports medicine.
Yeah, so
she's either business or sports medicine. Yeah, wow,
so,
she's a true athlete.
So there you go. Congratulations to her, and hopefully in a year or so
Did
I'll
he
make
tell you the details?
Same announcement with.
I gotta give me some Maryville bowling swag. Tell Bob we want swag to wear on the show.
Okay,
I'll give him. We'll buy it. I'll give him a Maryville polo and all.
I know right now he's in South Carolina visiting his dad this weekend, so he'll be back
his
Monday.
His family's sprinkled throughout the whole country. I want to say.
Well, most of his family now is in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
They left
From
Oklahoma and went to South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I think the old man's retired. He's in his 80s, and his sisters, whatever sisters, followed. And they're there too. So most of them are in. Most of the Bob side of the family is. I don't know where Jody's side of the family is.
Well, and he has an open invitation to come back on the show because I'm sure he's going to have experientions with all this.
And we'll all need to take notes on up and coming fathers. Yeah, so except for Bill, he won't give a fuck.
I bet you BV's even interested because it's probably pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Even more interesting when I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, this is the best one. Someone doesn't have to pay for it. So right before the show started, there was some breaking news locally here in Detroit. And, Matt Patricia and the Dan Quinn era have come to an end for the Detroit Lions. And by the way, everyone, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope they all had a great holiday. But on national TV, the Lions got owned by the Houston Texans. They threw a pick six to J.J. Watt. This will bleed a little bit into the news later. But because of that embarrassment,
they looked terrible.
They looked like they quit, and they looked terrible. Bill, from an outsider of Detroit at this point, what did you think of the Lions and firing their coach and GM? Is it overdue or?
Yeah, because it does look like they've lost the locker room and they're not getting anywhere. They have some high-priced players that are kind of getting scapegoated in the whole thing, particularly Stafford, who's actually played pretty well this year, but with not a whole lot around
Has
him.
he though? Has
Pardon?
He got that Padford. Is
Yeah,
that
you
what
know what,
Padford
I
was
think-
in full
I think
effect
he's an above-
Thursday.
I think he's an above-average starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he's Andy. Dalton.
He doesn't really have, and the weapons he has had this year have been hurt for a good chunk of the year too. So he's been running for his life for at least the last 5 to 7 years.
Wow, that is
Offensive
true.
line
That is
has
true.
never been any good behind him or in front of him. The only thing I'd be concerned with is, realistically, who are they going to get that's going to be any better than what they have now?
Well,
Yeah, but
whatever they
I
get,
gotta-
it'd be
and-
something
and
nobody's
players.
predicting.
I got to tell you, though, guys, we have way too many of these conversations of, like, who you going to get. But you just don't you don't stay with a shitty wife just because you're not sure how hot the next chick's going to be. Like, at some point, you got to just continue on and say, okay, I need out of this marriage. Because we say, I feel like, on this show, and not just us, but, like, nationally, there's a lot of, like, this, well, who's out there, who's better?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot
But
of
at the same
Wolverine fans
time,
are saying that about Jim Harbaugh.
yeah,
too.
well, let's not stay with shit just because we don't know what we could actually be. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Like, that's the mentality where, like, 10, 12 years go by and you're just a mediocre program and, like, you just kind of suck. I'm
Maybe here's
impressed.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, BB.
Maybe here's a better way of phrasing the question then. Who's better that the Lions are actually going to be willing to go out and pay for
Well,
as a coach? When have the Lions ever brought in a high-profile coach, spent the money? You could possibly say 20-some years ago, Mariucci was
Yeah,
still
he's
kind of
the
his
only one that
star,
comes
was
to
still on
mind.
there, and they proceeded to give him coach and GM, and it was a total. Well, they had a couple decent years, but mostly it was a debacle. So maybe the better question is, how are they going to improve on what they have now, considering the parameters that the Lions have always had, which is basically to be cheap on this sort of stuff.
but and again, I don't want to beat BV up, but I would say that firing mid-year shows a change in the Lions. So if you're going to go with the SOL same old Lions, you just shit can Patricia, which most all intents and purposes they wouldn't never do previous season. So at least maybe this is a change. And I agree with BV to a point, but like I said, maybe we're going to make a turn.
I would give anything if Bill Cowher came here to coach, just so I can see how miserable you'd be having to be a Lions fan. Dig up that corpse of Cowher and put him on that
First of all,
sideline.
that would be the best move they ever made. That's a whole
He'll stand
conversation.
there looking at the ceiling because he's dead.
That long out of the game, he'd still be the best coach they've had in 30 years.
Yeah,
I'm
it's true.
telling you, man.
I think they should just try to get Fonts back.
Yeah, oh, jeez.
Is he
I don't
still alive?
I don't know.
I
We'll
just,
find out.
like I said, like I think that we, and like Steve hit on with Michigan fan, we got to stop with this whole like, who else you gonna get? Like at some point, you got to pivot, you got to change, you got to
Pivot?
say. We got to do, yeah, exactly. When we got the couch on the stairs,
Yeah,
you got to either go back to the bottom or to the top and figure out how to get that couch in the apartment.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
we
right.
got to do. So,
Not to say anything positive about Michigan, but at least they took their shot.
Yeah.
They went and got their
Sure.
high-profile, high-priced guy, and they went all in on it.
sure.
I mean, I've never been a big Lions fan, but I've always kind of hoped you could see them do well. But they've never really gone in on anything.
Hey, they're like that little brother that gets beat up all the time. You just want him to succeed one time.
One time, get a shot.
Yeah, this one time. Even if I'm not a fan, it's like you pull for him. But
I just wonder, like at this point, and I'm sure we could all. How many careers is that franchise going to destroy? They've destroyed so many quality players
and coaches. I mean, there's coaches that came
they're
here.
just they're
Fucking Bobby Ross went to
yeah.
a Super Bowl and he was crazy by the time he left the Lions.
It's it's
Jim
a
Schwartz,
brutal
one of the best
program,
defensive minds in
yeah.
the league, it just leaves nuts. He's like, I
Yeah.
can't take it. And so, there you go. Also, son, December 22nd is a big day for the NBA because that is the opening day of the NBA season. Like Charles and I predicted, because they want to get that Christmas
Steve
game
nailed
in.
that one, yeah.
But the Toronto Raptors will not be the Toronto Raptors this year. They will be the Tampa Bay Raptors
Yeah.
because Canada is still saying, screw you to all you Americans. You're not coming in the country, and if you do, you got to wait 2 weeks before you can leave your hotel or whatever. So the question comes up, what's the hockey going to do? Because they got like 4 teams in the Canada, right?
The real question is not what they're going to do. Is does anyone care what they do? That's the ultimate
That
point.
is true, but
I mean, you know, if a tree falls in the wood, does it make a sound? Just saying.
So I just thought that was interesting. A little reminder: COVID's not gone because the
A little
Raptors got
reminder,
to move.
as we've hit like insane numbers.
Yeah,
Steve's here
it's
to
a
let
little-
folks
little
know.
out there. Oh, and you know, Monday morning when you watch the local news, even the national news, COVID's in the millions now because you all ate turkey together.
Yeah.
That's coming. That is coming Monday. So, but that's that point. Toronto Raptors will not be playing in Toronto. Now let's go back to Thanksgiving that Charles had his fettuccine, and
Delicious.
it was delicious. The 2 games on, there was a real bummer because I'm not a huge fan of the Steelers, but I
rivalry is
appreciate
great.
I appreciate a good game and a good rivalry.
Yeah.
So for
It
Thursday,
is one of the best rivalries in
Pittsburgh
the league.
Ravens, I was excited for, and it got postponed, which left us with Lions at Houston, Washington, and Dallas.
Yeah.
And you couldn't end up with 2 worst games on national TV. You guys have anything to say about these games? Lions got blown out, and Dallas. Funny, both home teams got blown out. It was terrible.
Dallas
Does anyone
is
have anything to say
bad,
about these games?
I just have one question for Charles.
Yes.
Are you going to enjoy having both Watt brothers in Pittsburgh next year?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
What are you talking about?
Well, because all reports are that
He's
J.J.
leaving,
Watt
yeah.
wants out of Houston and
Yeah.
he's going to leave at the end of the
You
year.
hear that?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, no.
And
Well, you'll have him for 3 games.
Until that glass shoulder arm.
Yeah, the
breaks
robo
into a
arm
million
breaks
pieces.
again.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be a
The Lions
full-time
made him look
Subway
like a-
commercial guy.
the
What?
Lions made him look like the old pro he was 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Matt Stafford, that great player, threw a pick right to him. Andy
Yeah,
Dalton.
he also tends to keep them in games when they're otherwise getting stroked everywhere else in the game.
We're in that game.
No, I'm with Steve. I'm not a fan of Stafford. I don't know.
Not anymore. I believed it at first, but now it's like, all right, it's over.
He's one of those quarterbacks too that's just always going to ride that mediocrity. That
yeah, the 8 and
slightly
8
above-
team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's yeah. But anyway, so both games were duds. Houston was pulling trick plays in the second half because they didn't even care, and it was working. They were throwing bombs. Washington, the game was kind of close, and then all of a sudden, Washington just pulled away out of nowhere. There was
Yeah.
just that one running back for Washington was just gouging them out of nowhere. Dallas has quit. Detroit has quit. So both those teams are done. They might as well just forfeit the rest of their game. Say they have COVID the rest of the year. And now Pittsburgh's getting screwed again because of all this COVID
Yeah,
stuff,
so
and
they
it's not
bumped
even
it.
them.
Yeah.
But now James Conner, the running
Yes.
back, did come down
and
with
a
COVID.
member of the coaching staff, according to ESPN. as
Yeah,
of before the
so-
show. So, but what are you gonna do at the end of the day? I've talked about it kind of before on the show, and I almost want Pittsburgh to just drop one. So I really do. I don't like the conversation. It doesn't mean anything. Like, fuck the 72 Dolphins. I don't give a shit. All right? Like, just.
But look how many years past the 72 Dolphins that we still talk about those fucking
And it's annoying, and they're dicks, and they get super defensive
well, now,
about
but
it.
Roethlisberger could be a dick 20 years from now if he goes
Yeah,
undefeated.
well, okay, so he could be Terry Bradshaw.
It doesn't
who's
matter.
a
They're going to go
dick.
16-0, and they're going to get bounced by the Chiefs. So it doesn't really make
I
a
don't
difference.
know, man. I want them to lose one. I'm dead serious. I don't want them to lose to Baltimore because, again, that's always a great rivalry.
I don't
And
think you have to worry
anytime-
about that. I
Yeah.
think teams are starting to figure out Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Gig is up, huh?
I think the gig's up. Me and Bill, well, the 3 of us talked about this before the
Yeah.
season. It just took a little longer than
Get
anticipated.
that tape and get that the
Yeah.
speed of the game to catch up to him.
Yeah. So, but anyways, there's the pros on Thursday. Now let's go to college. Now, Bill, before we go into college, I didn't catch the end of it. Did you catch the end of the Iron Bowl? I know Alabama was whooping their ass.
It was a very close
yeah,
game.
it ended 42-13.
Yeah, so the
was
Gus
so
Malzahn
one-sided.
hot seat is
So
firing up again. I didn't get to put the score down here on the notes, so yeah, that wasn't even close or even worth watching either. Now,
Any big deal about for BV being a Bama fan? Was there a big deal about Saban not being on the sidelines? What is your opinion on all that? What do you got?
Well, I mean, I think it would have been a bigger deal if they weren't a 26-point favorite going into the game.
26
But,
26 points.
yeah, I mean, against Auburn, you don't see that very often. I mean, there's always a little bit of concern.
What is Auburn's
Sark-
quarterback? Because they've been
Bo
blowing.
Nix.
Yeah, can we stop with the Bo Nix love now?
Yeah, I know, he's and his dad was the quarterback of Auburn back in the 80s too. It's just it was garbage. So yeah, no real concern. This is probably good for Sarkisian. He was the interim coach for the game.
Was he
and
drunk?
No, I mean he's
Was
off
he
the
wheezing
sauce
the
now.
juice?
He's clean, man, and
Okay.
it seems to be.
Saban runs a tight
He's going to
ship.
get another shot at head coaching sometime soon. So
Oh, man.
Oh, great. So he'll lose to Saban
Maybe he
6
go to
times in a
Lions.
row. Oh, great. Bring his
Drunk
drunk
guy go to
ass up.
Lions. All right, now let's go from that game back into one of Bill's dark horse picks in the beginning of the season, if we all remember. Even though they had a very tight one, Iowa State 23-20 over Texas. This is one of the better games of the weekend. This was on Friday, too, where Charles didn't realize any football was on Friday. I knew that football was on.
Damn it.
Bill, did you see this game? Did you like this game?
I didn't see the entire game, but I did see a good chunk of it.
Yeah, Texas shanked a field goal at the end to miss, and it was going to force it in overtime.
Oh, okay.
The Texas quarterback took a sack.
How many times did they show Matthew McConaughey?
They showed Ricky Williams of all people.
He was there as a kite over there.
I don't know what he was saying. I had the sound turned down because I was playing video games while I was watching. But yeah, so Iowa State, Bill's dark horse pick, may still win the Big 12. I think they're going to run into Oklahoma State, so that should be interesting.
They are leading the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, does Big 12 have a championship game? I don't remember.
I don't know. Well, I think they will have
they
one
do.
this year.
Yeah.
They're not doing divisions, though, I don't think. They're doing just the top two teams.
Yeah.
So.
And then what many thought was the last trap game for Notre Dame was Notre Dame, North Carolina. This game, Charles didn't get to see it, so this game was close. Carolina came out firing. They were up 14-0.
Mac Brown's a good coach.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
and I have a random soft spot for North Carolina for some reason. I'm not sure why. But they came out firing. I got a little worried in that first half. And then they scored 14 like quick. Right down the field twice.
Oh, shit.
And then Notre Dame's defense woke up, made some adjustments, and it was pretty much over from there.
See, the weird part is I had none of this anxiety about the game because I didn't watch any of it because I didn't know it was on Friday.
When did Ian Book suddenly start thinking he was magic?
Oh, my God. He had so many run around for your life and chuck it in the airplane. I don't know how half of those didn't get picked.
He was straight.
One he did like a
he did that like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like option pitches 10 yards down the field into traffic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were pulling some shit out there. And even the announcer's like, he loves that backyard football.
Loves that backyard. Loves playing by the
looked like
seat
Brett
of his
Favre
ass.
and shit. It was
Yeah,
bad.
so, but Notre Dame won. They keep rolling. They're 9-0 at this point.
They got Cuse,
Wake Forest and Cuse.
Yeah, they got Cuse next, right?
Yeah. And Cuse is a shadow of themselves.
Yeah.
I thought Cuse was up and coming a couple years ago. Remember when I picked him as a dark horse, and then they got destroyed. And I was like, oh, never mind. So there's that. Also, there is some side news for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, young
First
lady.
female kicker, Fuller. I
Power
think.
5, yeah.
Yeah. Only got, of course, there's big promo about this, and they got shut out. So she only got to kick the second half kickoff, and it wasn't good. But they said it was an intentional squib kick.
Oh.
It was bad. If you get a chance, see the highlight of that one. Bill, any thoughts on the first female kicker?
Well, I mean, that's cool and all, but she's no Kathy Ireland. But
Oh yeah, what was that? The replacement? No,
Yeah.
it was,
No, it's
Necessary
necessary.
Roughness.
necessary. That's what it was. I always get those
Texas. What is it?
confused.
North Texas or
Yeah.
whatever.
she probably didn't have Manu Mano Mano or.
But I mean, it was cool.
Yeah,
But
Thunder.
they got shut out, so she didn't even get a chance to kick a field goal. Vanderbilt's still kind of bad on top of that. Now and then, of course, we like to cover the local team.
I did catch some of this. Yeah.
Penn State, Michigan, and Penn State finally gets their first win of the season
Yeah.
against Michigan. Their quarterback got hurt, McNamara, in first half, I think. And they brought the old boy back out, and he wasn't the greatest either. I can't think of his name. What's their normal quarterback? Milton, yes, Milton. 27-17. Penn State kind of pulled away in the second half, and it was kind of over. This is what it was. It was 7.
How fast at the end of this season do you guys think that there's a fine parting of the ways from Ann Arbor and Mr. Harbaugh?
Well, according to Mike Golick, who was doing the play-by-play, which both announcers were not at the stadium. One was in Connecticut at
Golick
ESPN.
was in Bristol.
And the other guy was at his house or something. So they,
Wow,
I thought that was very unique. I was like, wow, I was not surprised. But they're convinced that he's still a hot commodity because he went to 3 championship games with San Francisco, and they are convinced a lot of.
You
pro
guys
teams.
don't think he's gonna?
Maybe he can go to Detroit.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a spot in Allen Park open for him.
What? So, just to guess, if we are looking around the room, where do you think a Harbaugh ends up? Do you think he's a Power 5 guy? Do you think he's a storied program guy? Where does he end up? Steve, make a call.
I think he takes a year off.
You think
lives
so?
on that Michigan money for a year, lets everything cool down, and then he shows up in the NFL. I think he really wants back. In
You
the
think he's
NFL.
the head coach of the NFL?
Probably.
Yeah?
Jets would probably take him right now.
Yeah.
Would you argue that? Jets or Giants probably both would take him.
Yeah.
I can't really argue that fact. Maybe Cincinnati may be interested in him. I don't know.
I don't think he's. I think he likes the kookiness of the college game, though. That weirdness of like, cause
But he likes the paycheck in the NFL. You're not getting
Yeah.
another. He's not getting
But-
another Michigan contract in college.
he is greedy.
Yeah, it's $7 million a year. He's not getting $7 million a year from anybody else in college.
Yeah. BB,
He's
what
got-
are you thinking? What are you thinking, BB?
I think his next landing spot's the NFL too, but I'm not sure he takes a year off. I think if the right job's open, he'll jump immediately.
Yeah. The only job I can think of off the top of my head would be Jets, right? They're firing their coach.
Yeah.
They're a train wreck.
What about the Falcons?
No. No. How dare you?
That would be so ironic. I would die.
coach.
I liked what he did in Stanford. You can say what he will, but I don't know how much of that was based on the talent he got there
Yeah,
or
or
whatever.
Andrew Luck or-
yeah,
yeah.
I don't want to,
Or the coordinators.
speculate, but like, I'm not a fan of him in Ann Arbor at any stretch. But he's so kooky. God, he's a kooky dude, man.
Yeah,
he
he is.
really is eccentrically kooky.
Hey, Bill, could you give us an update? Because it was tied when we went at Michigan or Northwestern, Michigan State.
I was
was
actually going to
2020.
just mention that Michigan State 29, Northwestern 20 is the final.
Oh, big
So Michigan
deal.
State's a weird team. They're terrible all year, but they pull an upset against a 5-0 Northwestern team.
Hey,
So.
the problem is, I just want. What is Ohio State going to do? The Big Ten is such a dumpster fire.
I don't know.
That nationally, all their they have no strength of schedule because they can't get any decent. It's crazy.
Well, another interesting thing about it, and they were talking about this during the Michigan game, because the Illinois game was canceled sort of late today with Ohio State. If they can't play next week because of COVID, they might not have enough games to qualify for the playoff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they said that Ohio State, if they don't get enough games in, they may not even qualify for the Big Ten championship.
Jesus
And Indiana will get to
Christ.
go.
I mean, how crazy! I'm not Ohio State, man. I'm not, Wigs here or whatever. But that's crazy,
Yeah,
man. Really quality team just can't catch a break right now. That's crazy.
I think we're starting to get to the point too now with the NFL where we're going to start having similar concerns. Like, who knows if that Ravens Steelers game is actually going to happen even Tuesday. When I was checking up scores, breaking news. So the Broncos are playing the Saints tomorrow. All three quarterbacks can't play.
Whoa.
So a third string the third string quarterback, Jeff Driscoll, I think is a former Michigan State quarterback. He tested positive, but all three were in a room with him, not wearing
They got
masks.
quarantine, yeah.
So they have to go on the ineligible list for a certain period of time until they're tested. And so they don't have a quarterback to play tomorrow against the Saints.
So I predicted week 8 they were gonna fall apart. I don't know
You're
what
just
week.
off
it was.
by a few weeks.
10 week, yeah, 11 week, yeah.
10 or 11. Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the football this week and a little bit of the college and the pros, and COVID's still attacking. So we'll see what happens next week. Now, for the taste test this week, now Bill's married to a vegan or a vegetarian.
Maine.
Vegetarian.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. And
Big difference.
The
'cause,
Charles
man, the
always does-
vegan's
Yeah.
impossible.
he loves Beyond Beef and impossible stuff. So Pizza Hut,
There's a lot of holes in this pizza.
we got our pizzas have been attacked.
I put that on that main camera.
Yeah, so-
it started on a whole pizza. It's a taste test.
So Michelle, Heather, and Lorna have attacked this pizza.
Full disclosure, me and Steve have not tried it. BB,
Yeah.
have you put lips on this thing yet? Are you good?
No. We ordered. Abby had to try it last week, so we ordered it. But I ate something else,
Oh,
and I
there you
didn't
go.
try the pizza.
Yeah, we got to
So-
keep the integrity of these.
Yes.
of these
Now at Pizza Hut, they serve it. Let me get a piece here, and then you can have it back.
Go for it. Yeah.
Here, hold on to it.
I just like showing it to the camera because it's so
This is-
pathetic.
Do
Old
you, just
ass
have,
pizza.
you guys just have the sausage on it?
Yeah.
Would you get some others on yours? Cause
Well,
Steve
no.
was-
We bought a pizza for this Abby's pizza. I just took a piece of it, so she had mushrooms added to it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have two options. You can get it just sausage, or you can get a Supreme. This just sausage is $13.99. The Supreme is $17.99, and the Supreme comes with the sausage and the vegetables. Weird. Like I was telling Charles before the podcast, you should just be able to pick the Beyond sausage to put on your pizza.
Should just
with
be
the-
a topping.
Yeah. But I know it's marketing.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Now, what we did with this is we ordered the basic one and then just added a topping to the basic sausage one.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can't do
But
that.
you can only add veggie according to what Steve was saying. which is weird because you can have cheese. I don't know why they're being so particular about it. It seems a little harsh, but. So what do you think, Steve? Smells like regular pizza.
Now, in full disclosure, I'm not a sausage aficionado, but if you told me this is fake, unless you told me, I wouldn't know.
I think that. BB,
Yeah.
what are you thinking? What do you got?
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, first of all, you don't taste a ton of the sausage in the pizza anyway, and I'm not a big sausage lover on pizza, but I grabbed one of them and picked it off and ate it separately too. I have to say, as far as tasting like meat, this is the closest. Like, this tastes more like sausage than any other Impossible or Beyond Beef has tasted like a burger. So
This is probably even better than
I wouldn't know the
Burger
difference if
King
you didn't tell
sausage
me.
one we had.
Yeah, you think so? It's got such good spicing to it. You'd have no idea it's a spicing. You'd have no
Yeah.
clue, man. Just dead air
Yeah.
while two fat guys sit here
If I,
eat pizza.
if I like sausage
3.
on pizza, this would be good.
Now they need a pepperoni version of this, right?
Yeah. And I think you could hide the the plant basedness in the pepperoni really well, I'd argue.
Maybe because it'd be too thin? I don't know.
Well, you'd have the
I've had
Michelles of the world
plant-based
talk about the
pepperoni.
textures.
I don't know.
I've had plant-based pepperoni
That exists?
before. Oh yeah,
How'd that taste?
it was close enough. Someone like Beyond got it, or Impossible got a hold of it. They'd probably take it the rest of the way.
The flavored crust you got on this is spot on. Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice, my friend.
Would you get buttery garlic?
No, Pizza Hut favorite.
Okay.
It's
What does that
basically It's the same seasoning they put on the breadsticks.
Oh my god. Yeah, spot on. So going around the digital room, as Steve's hands all greasy, we have no napkins. BB brought a napkin. He's the only one prepared. Steve, what is your opinion of the Pizza Hut Beyond sausage pizza?
I would not drop another 13 for it, but I mean, if they had it as a topping to add with other toppings on regular pizza,
what if it was an extra $1 for a premium topping?
well,
So in other words, another topping would be $2.50, but the Beyond one would be $3.50.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not a super Beyond guy, so at that point, I'm like, I already got pepperoni. If I can get Beyond pepperoni and sausage, then yeah, I'd do that. But right now, I mean, at 13, well, I don't eat a lot of Pizza Hut to begin with, so. It's good though. It's good. As far as taste, texture, everything else, you like pepperoni or sausage pizza? It's a big thumbs up. I liked it. Definitely up there. So far, I haven't tasted any fake meats
They've been
that were
off-putting.
really gross.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think so either.
Wait, I take that back. I had one at White Castle, but it wasn't the meat that was gross. It was like a weird wasabi like flavoring to it. They did some terrible flavoring to it. It was terrible, but it had nothing to do with the meat. That was just the burger itself. So, big thumbs up.
You got a
10.
thumbs up as we spit on all of our mics.
yeah.
BB, where are you at on this one? Sum it up for us, BB.
Well, as far as it being, tasting what it's supposed to taste like, it's a big thumbs up. I'm not a big sausage on pizza eater. And if I do, it's going to be in some kind of a Supreme where there's a bunch of other
Yeah, we
toppings.
meat it up, right?
Yeah, so it's not, like if I was doing, I do like the meat lovers or something. But, so I probably wouldn't buy it again for myself unless it was just something I could add as a topping. But, if it had the Beyond pepperoni and that tasted sort of similar to pepperoni as this does the sausage, then yeah, I'd do that. But, so I mean, I guess for my personal taste, it's sort of neutral, but as far as, for what it is, it's really good.
My only caveat I would say, and I think it's a good product, but to me, you should have come out with 3 meat assimiles of like a Beyond. Like Steve said, you should have had a pepperoni and a sausage or something like that, and you could call and get the Beyond vegetarian meat pizza or something like that. Like, I think it's to just throw sausage on a pizza is a little weird.
Yeah.
No one eats pizza like that.
Yeah, who eats a plain sausage pizza?
Yeah, and I get the premium for it. I'm definitely, we've talked at length on the show of my love of the Impossible product, and I think the Beyond Meat stuff has always been right there with it. I think it's really good stuff, but I think that, like Steve said, I think we're caught up in like a weird marketing thing where they want to get it in a specific way, specifically for people. I think that's kind of a little off, but like BV said, it's if you're looking for sausage, yeah, it tastes like sausage. It's spot on.
Yeah. So there we go. The Beyond Pizza currently at Pizza Hut right now. Maybe they just make it a regular topping so you don't have to order the
I think it
special
all sounds like
Beyond
3
Pizza.
thumbs up, but like with an asterisk.
Yeah,
I think is
yeah.
what we're all saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Now tonight is a big night for 50-plus-year-old Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Big pay-per-view tonight, $50. Before I get into asking Bill what he thinks, because he's more of a boxing aficionado than us, I will say this fight has weird rules to it. I don't know if you looked up the rules.
Talk to me. What do you got? I didn't know.
First off, they have bigger gloves, which that ain't a big deal.
What
They go from 8 ounce to 12 ounce or something like that.
and that's
Heavyweights usually use 10.
Yeah.
So
we're
yeah,
at
they're
12
using
ounce
12
gloves.
This one, yeah.
It's only 8 rounds, and it's only 2 minutes a round, no 3 minutes.
okay.
That's a little weird. And then also, I've heard that if there's blood, they stop the fight.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That could be a big
Yeah.
one because, especially with as ferocious as Tyson was back in the day,
Yeah.
you know, it's not crazy to say we're going to see a little color, if you will. And that's not good.
This is going to be a weird fight.
But if we paid $50 for this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So they turn around and they pull some bullshit where they stop in the second round. I'll be furious. I'm going to be furious. All right?
I've read and heard the rules on that a little bit differently.
Okay, go ahead.
If someone suffers a bad cut, they'll stop it. Like they're not going to let them go with a big gash.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
But if there's
fine,
just
yeah.
a little
The
blood, that
article I
won't
says
necessarily end the fight.
as soon as they see blood, they're caught in. So
The concern I have about the rules is that the California State Commission's being really hardcore about this exhibition status and trying to protect older fighters. So if things go crazy, you're not like I saw a guy for the commission come out and say, well, this is an exhibition. They're not supposed to be out there trying to take each other's heads off and going for knockouts. It's an exhibition of skills.
Mm-hmm.
If
It's
someone
a
gets
Tyson
hurt,
fight. It's
if someone gets shook a little bit or gets hurt, I think you'd be looking at a very quick stoppage. That would be my concern, is that they don't let them fight through much of anything.
it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. In other words.
Okay, so
Maybe.
let's go around this digital room as we often talk about opinions. What is Steve's opinion on how the Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight's going to go, and what we're going to see tonight?
I often on this show talk about nostalgia balls, and a lot of people have, and myself included to a degree, have Tyson's nostalgia ball. Everybody wants Tyson to be the killer he was. He hasn't fought in 15 years. In his 2 last fights, he got knocked the fuck out. A lot of people don't even remember that. And they were bums that knocked him out. They wasn't even good people. Roy Jones Jr. fought in 2018, and he won. And maybe it's
Roy Jones Jr. has been fighting quite a bit.
yeah,
in his
and
later
maybe it was
stages.
a soup can he was fighting. I don't know. But at the same time, he didn't. I see Roy Jones Jr. running for 8 rounds, pity patting him like Lennox Lewis did.
and
to
winning
him,
on the cards.
and winning on the cards. This is exactly what. But then there's supposed to be no judges, but there is judges. I'm not sure about that one either.
Well, we're definitely
I don't think you're going to
check
get
out
the
early.
ferocious mid 80s, early 90s Mike Tyson. There's going to be no huge knockout.
How good would it be if it were to take place?
Oh,
Let's be
that's what
honest.
everybody wants, but I don't think that's what everyone's going to get. And then it's going to be one and done, and everyone's going to be like, I don't want to see Tyson fight again. 'Cause that was not exciting.
Well, at least we could say we were there.
Yeah,
All right,
so
we
that
watched
that
it.
is my prediction. Roy Jones Jr. is going to win in a very boring fight.
Okay, BV. What is the BV? You're more.
Bill's more
I'm
of an
into the
expert than any
MMA. BV's
Yes.
more on the pugilism side. What's BV's take on tonight's event?
All right, so I think everything is lined up perfectly for Tyson here. Now, both guys were upset about the 2-minute rounds, but 8 rounds at 2 minutes plays in Tyson's favor because he's not as likely to tire himself out a little quickly. He's not going to have to, go quite as long. They're not wearing headgear. The 12-ounce gloves doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But looking, first of all, if you have seen Tyson on the, like I watched part of an interview a couple days ago, it was 2 months ago with him on Joe Rogan. Tyson is into like watching some of his training stuff and then watching just the way he's acting. He is starting to go back to old school Tyson destroyer mentality. The question is whether or not his body will allow him to do it for any length of time. The problem and I understand what you're saying about him, he got destroyed late in his career against bums, but they were 270-pound bums. They couldn't fight for shit, but they could hit. Roy Jones was not really a giant knockout puncher when he was a middleweight and a light heavyweight. And so he wasn't knocking guys out when he won the heavyweight title, when he beat John Ruiz. He wasn't knocking anybody out then. He's got no power at heavyweight. And Jones was one of those fighters that never was a technique guy. He didn't have a whole lot of classic skills and classic defense. His reaction skills and his athleticism was better than everybody else. And as soon as he got a little bit older and started fighting really good fighters, hence like the Antonio Tarver fight, he got knocked the fuck out. So when you could actually hit him, he didn't have a whole lot of a chin, and that was at 175. So yeah, back when he was 30, 35, he could go up there and fight a 210-pound guy and move around and make him and do well enough to get it. If Tyson has anything at all, he will destroy Jones within 2 or 3 rounds. because Jones could sit there and
on nostalgia.
Yeah,
I'll say this: Jones could unload the kitchen
How old
sink
is
on Tyson and never hurt him. If Tyson hits him with one good shot to the chin, Jones, you won't have to worry about them stopping the fight. He won't get up. He will get knocked the fuck out.
I gotta tell you, that's exciting.
Tyson knockout within 3 rounds.
Wow, Tyson KO 3 rounds from BB. I just want to see some kind of spectacle. I don't know what that means in the world of boxing. Boxing to me is from someone I like a lot of MMA. I like the ground game and all that kind of stuff. It's such a slow burn for that boxing stuff and the hugging shit. And these guys are both old, so I don't know what that means. If it can deliver what BV's talking about, I am all in. If that's the case,
we all want that.
Yeah, Steve just doesn't think we're gonna see.
Reality is gonna give you something else.
So the other thing I put on here a little bit, so we get Jake Paul, who's a YouTube asshat, who's under that.
He's fighting an NBA guy or something.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I can't remember, but it's an NBA. I'm pretty sure it's a retired NBA guy.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Nate
random.
Robinson. He's a former dunk contest winner. He's like 5'8".
So we got that to look forward to, and I paid $50 through the FiteTV app. That's how we're gonna see this tonight. And then also Foreman came out and called Tyson, told him he has temporary insanity
Which
for even
didn't
getting
Foreman
back
come
in the
back
ring.
in his 50s?
I don't know where he's
It
coming
was his
from.
40s.
Oh, 40s.
He came
sorry.
back in his early to mid 40s.
Well, he came back to compete in real boxing. Tyson's just coming back for a couple $1 million in an exhibition.
So we'll see.
right.
I hope it's something good. I know that much, like Steve's saying. Whether it is that, we're gonna have to wait and see.
I think nostalgia's got us all.
Yeah.
If it is good, the what I keep seeing and hearing is that if this does work out well and it's exciting and people enjoy it, you'll probably see him back in the ring, Tyson back in the ring against Holyfield within the next year.
And Holyfield beat his ass again.
Oh man, Steve.
Yeah, that one, who knows? But that's
No,
that's
we
a
know.
legitimate heavyweight.
We've seen it twice.
I want to say Holyfield's like leaned out. Like Holyfield's a really
Holyfield's
skinny,
brain dead at this point.
But he also is like really scrawny and like he's off some kind of juice. I don't know what he's up to. He's lost a ton of weight.
He'll eat his Wheaties to get back.
Yeah.
It's amazing how Tyson did it. So all of a
Tyson
sudden,
looked-
Yeah.
right.
Holyfield's a legitimate heavyweight, so I'd like his chances a hell of a lot better than I like Roy Jones.
Yeah, you're obviously very negative on the Roy Jones. So we'll see.
I'm
he's
not
gonna
saying
get
Roy
hurt
Jones is going to knock
real.
him out, but I think he's going to pity pat him for 8 rounds. We're going to be like,
It's gonna be entertaining.
I don't
hope
think that these guys. That was kind of Jones's nature in the first place. I don't think Tyson knows how to do that. If he does that, it's going to be because he went out crazy in the first minute or so, got so tired that he kind of drags ass the rest of the fight. That's a possibility. But if he doesn't get tired, he's not going to sit there and he doesn't have that mentality at all. Like, there's no way he'll do that.
do what?
Just sit there and pity pat for 8 rounds.
No, I said Jones is going to do that, not Tyson.
Yeah, I don't think Jones can run for 8 rounds and keep away from him for 8 rounds.
Man. I smell
Unless
cheddar between BB and Steve. You guys smell
Tyson
that,
tires
Bugs?
out quickly. Yeah, unless Tyson tires out quickly, he's going to have way too much for Jones.
BD, you're the king of the sports book on this thing. What kind of numbers is everything looking at? Do you got any of that handy by chance? And if you could look it up, let's find out where we're at as far as YouTube putting some juice on this, because this could be good. I just want to see something
Tyson's
good.
favorite.
Yeah, I would. I don't think it's a big guess. I think he is. Yeah.
Okay, Tyson's a minus 220 favorite, and Jones is plus 170.
That's a pretty big. 220 is pretty high. What is it?
Yeah, so
Usually it's
you have
negative
to- so you have to
100.
bet $220 to win 100 for if you take
Yeah,
Tyson.
that's
You bet 100 for Jones, you'd win 107.
so that tells me
Oh,
Vegas is hard on Tyson, is what they're saying right there. Vegas wants Tyson. So
The
we'll
whole
see.
country wants Tyson.
Steve's claiming he's calling bullshit, man.
I don't
I
know.
like this. This is gonna be good.
I think this is a mismatch. I think that's why the odds are where they are. It's a physical mismatch.
All right. So there we go. It's a big fight tonight.
It's gonna be fun.
We'll cover it next week as soon as we get the results. All right. So I didn't watch a lot. I know Fargo's winding down, so we'll have the season finale next week, or this Sunday, actually. So next week I'll talk about that. Of course, The Mandalorian's winding down. Bill, did you catch up on The Mandalorian?
No, I have and it's kind of a sensitive subject. So apparently, wife wanted to watch it too. She saw me watching the end of the season, the first season, and got all irritated. So I told her I'd wait for her to catch up, but then she never caught up. So I'm about to just say screw it and go watch the second season.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm getting sick of waiting.
Well, this last episode was a deep dive into some lore, so I want to see.
Steve was way into
I want
it.
to see how Charles and you handle that. But I mean, it wasn't super deep dive, but it ties in a lot.
I
to the
saw
animated
some
show.
of the. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I, of course, stuck up with the video games, and the first one, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and this was on PC because I wanted to try a Call of Duty on my PC. I tell you what, smoke and fire on the PC looks so much better than on a PC.
Okay.
That's
It's a
one
particle
thing.
effects.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like,
thing,
It's, I don't know what it is about a PC doing that. It's better than it does. I always take it like if you had a drawing and you drew it pretty good and you liked it and you said, oh, that's not bad. And you went back a year and you just highlighted some more details. That's the difference between PS4 and PC.
You also maybe have a few more tricks.
Yeah. So it looks a little better than PS4. I played through the single player, of course, and I played a little zombies and I played a little multiplayer, but not a lot.
How did you play multiplayer with that? Is it cross-platform? Can you play with your friends?
I didn't play with my
everything?
friends. I played just.
But
randomly.
nonetheless, you could, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what Call of Duty does is you have your own Call of Duty, your own Activision name. So like Gabe and Eric and them.
Yeah, you're
you get a
logging
friends
independent
list for
of it,
them.
yeah.
That's opposite of the PS4.
And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's
So
cool.
even Christopher's on there, so I can play with him no matter what he's on. So that's kind of cool. I will say I liked the story, but man, it was short. It was even for a Call of Duty. It was short. It was only like 4 hours.
Oh, that is short.
Yeah, it was all based in 1981, Cold War.
It's like an 80s movie. Is that the vibe
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
going
yeah.
for?
It starts off with big explosions and craziness. Then you do a little stealth. Then a couple more big explosions. Ronald Reagan shows up in it. Mikhail Gorbachev. So they really pump in the 80s a little bit. You go a couple stages with a flashback.
I saw a
back
couple
to-
dudes with sunglasses and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
too,
He looks like
yeah.
Robert Redford.
Yeah.
He's the main guy.
Okay.
So I liked it. Of course, I always do like the
They're
campaigns.
fun. The action side, like their ability to be cinematic and they're fun, like
Yeah.
over the top ways. Call of Duty single player. I know a lot of people look at us like we're dinosaurs. They can be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's like a Hollywood movie to me. You're playing a Hollywood movie.
a lot of fun.
So I always like them. Now the Black Ops go a little different than the regular Call of Duty. Black Ops is more one squad, and it's more based on just that. Like on some Call of Duties, you're this guy in Africa, then you're back over here.
Theaters. You get
Yeah,
different
yeah, and then
theaters,
also Black Ops deals with a lot of like CIA mind, like there's parts about the mind brainwashing and stuff like that. So there's a little more in depth just for certain characters than that's the difference between Black Ops and regular Call of Duty. So it deals into some of that. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is the war zone is just the war zone from Modern Warfare. So they just add in a couple Black Ops characters into it and say, there you go. So they didn't come up with a new war zone.
So
for
this feels like a
game.
very kind of rehashy kind of product.
Yeah, so you
huh?
got a very short campaign. I've never liked the zombie mode. Zombie mode is just like horde mode.
I know
So
exactly.
It's kind of, but some
It's
people
basically
love it.
AI people, and then don't you join that or something like that as you get infected or something like that? Doesn't
No,
that-
well, this one it's me, you,
You're
and a couple
fighting out
others.
waves.
We're in a big building, and waves of zombies just
Okay,
keep
okay,
coming.
yeah.
Yeah, and as you build up, you get better weapons and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've never liked zombie mode, but a lot of people do. Okay, and then the multiplayer is the same stuff, but it's a couple of the maps are remakes of older maps, Nuketown, something like that.
Tough, yeah.
So I don't know if this was a COVID year and we're gonna just pump out some stuff real quick. So as it is, it's like a 7. I mean, if they give me some more story and some more new stuff.
So I
coming-
wonder why you've talked to certain people and they've kind of been kind of down on it. I wonder if that's why, if the
Yeah,
multiplayer
almost-
seems a little
Yeah,
rehashy and not
it's rehashed with
necessarily-
no. Yeah, that's probably why people
Yeah,
aren't
maybe.
liking it. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And that was the
Do
big.
you think
release
it's
for
a
them.
last hurrah in this current gen? So they were
Oh,
like,
yeah,
yeah, it
definitely.
was just kind of like,
let's
development
throw it-
was weird. And
We'll
it's
throw
kinda-
some 80s on it. That'll get everyone to play.
Yeah.
Everyone loves 80s. We'll throw a fucking CGI Ronald Reagan in there.
Yeah.
That'd be good. But So there you go.
7 out of 10. You're calling that?
7 out of 10, and that's probably being generous, but just because they look so beautiful on
They're
the PC.
fun, yeah.
And I do like the single player. So,
but you would argue that if you played the previous ones, don't expect a huge.
Yeah,
leap.
and if you're in it just for multiplayer, this isn't your game. If you love the campaigns for Call of Duty, then yeah. But
so would you call this like a straight up rental Call of Duty?
yeah, you could probably rent it, crack through what you like, and then go back to play Warzone. Warzone's actually for free. You could play Warzone right now on PS4 without owning the game. So like you could play with all of us today if you want.
Okay.
Won't cost you a nickel. Now the other one I rented, and this fell under the radar a little bit. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Now you remember Little Big Planet,
Correct. Yeah.
So basically, they stripped the creator out of it and just made it's like a
straight
Mario
up platform.
It's a 3D Mario.
Oh, because that's better. Because I didn't like Little Big Planet because it was almost overwhelming in the tool sets.
Yeah,
and all that
they
kind of
scratched
stuff.
all that and just made a regular platformer.
I'm intrigued by that.
So it's got 5 worlds, and each world's got about 10 to 15 stages on it.
I might need to play that.
Yeah,
Did they
right
fix
up your
the
alley.
physics at all?
Well, what they did, they're a little tighter than they were,
Okay.
and they also added in the Luigi's foot thing.
Oh, a little
So when
twinkle
you-
toe thing.
Yeah, so when you jump, you hit jump button, you get the little.
okay.
That helps you immensely in this game.
That's what's the technical term for it?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Even Bill knows that. You know that, right? When you jump in Luigi, you hit the extra button, you hit that little extra burst when you jump.
Was that Mario 2 or whatever?
Yeah, Mario 2 or 3. Of course, I like the aesthetic of these games. It looks like everything's built from scratch, like you went to a
It has
craft store.
a Little Big Planet to the point looks amazing, but
Yeah.
it was just like almost like overwhelming, and then like to aggregate the levels was kind of confusing and too much, and I didn't want to like put in my own physics engine to make it. It's like,
It's too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the old Little Big Planets, I'd crack through all the stages that the developers made.
Yeah, okay.
And I was kind of done. I was like, I don't want to make
Yeah,
this stuff.
this sounds a little more up my alley.
Yeah, and you can unlock costumes as you go through, and that's all uphill. Now, the one thing great about this is every stage is built for co-op. So Holly and I played through most of the game.
Oh, so
together.
it's like the new Super Mario Brothers, where they want you to play with multiple
yeah,
people.
you can play with up to 4 people.
Jump on each other's heads, and
Yeah, so it'd be like me, you, Holly,
It
and,
is
and
like the new
Lorna
Super
could all
Mario
play at the
Brothers.
same
Okay.
time.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so it's very good. It's a game. The only thing I don't like, and I'll tell you right now, I don't like platformers where if I beat a stage, right, and I keep going to the stages, and then I get
Don't
to
make me go back and get all the coins. Or
this is
something.
one of them. So to get to the end stage to
You
do
need
the boss
76
fight,
coins. I only got
yeah, I have to go
72.
back. Yeah, so I spent like 2 hours going back.
It's so annoying.
They weren't coins; they were these little glowy orb
Nonetheless,
things.
yeah.
I hate platformers that do that.
That's
Like,
a
listen, I beat
lot
the
of 'em.
stage.
Yeah.
Let me go to the next one.
Yeah.
And I get it; it's replayability. It gets you to go back and stuff like that.
It takes an 8-hour game and makes it 10 or 12 because you had to replay
Yeah.
1-5 4 times.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard modern trapping platform.
And you being a seasoned platform guy and myself, it shouldn't take you very long. It may be 8 hours, 9 hours. So if you're gonna play it, just rent it. You can probably win it in a weekend.
Is it a full cost title? Is it a $50 game, $60 game?
Yeah, it's 60.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
60.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Is
a
the
lot of
creator
replayability
in it?
Huh?
There's no creator at all in it.
No.
So there's not even an option to. That seems a little steep then, if I'm honest.
Well, I mean, Mario was 60, right?
Yeah, but like you pay for Nintendo in some level. I don't know. Like it just seems like you said, like that just screams rental. To
I think
me
it's
then.
60. It
It's
might be
got to be a
50.
rental then.
Well, that's why I rented
Yeah,
it. But I mean, it's a solid game, and there's a lot of replayability. There's hidden stages. There's just special co-op stages, and also there's all the different. There's a ton of costumes. Like the one Holly loved was one where you dress like a little pinata, and you're like a pinata, and so
They
there's
look like feathery,
and there's
like
parts of costumes through each stage you could find and unlock new
okay.
costumes. So that's what the replayability is for it. Of course, I don't care about any of that, so I just cracked through one and took it back. Which is so, but I have to say it's an 8 out of 10 though. If you like platform
I
gaming,
bet you the visuals of it are amazing.
oh, and it's, yeah, even on PS4
visuals
Pro.
on those, look great. Yeah.
Now there has been a report that even on, it's supposed to be 4K, but on the PS5 it's actually not 4K, or on the PS4 it's not. 4K.
I saw that monster finally. You said there was a display at Walmart, so I made a point when I was at a Walmart.
Yeah, it's like
randomly.
as big as that Galaga.
Holy cow!
I told you
that
that
thing
thing's-
enormous.
I told
Holy
you it was
shit.
big. Yeah, that's,
You got to redesign your entertainment center to put
yeah,
that boy
the
in there.
PS5 is humongous,
And
but
it looks like it's got a ton of cooling louvers and it's crazy design.
it's weird. And so that's why I was busy playing games, and then I was wrapping up my show. So next week I'll have a lot of shows to go over that have wrapped up. So Charles, you've watched The Crown season 2. Little controversy around this one.
Season 4.
Season 4, sorry.
Yeah, the newest
with
season
Princess
of it.
Diana's
Correct,
interpretation.
yeah.
A lot of people don't like it. Please explain what's happening.
And okay. So I think that The Crown is one of the top 5 shows on all of Netflix, and I think that most people would agree. I know Steve and BV have talked about how you guys just aren't into that whole thing and the Windsor Castle, and you're just not into it, okay? And I get it. But, like, I don't consider myself a big royalty guy, but, like, I think that it's intriguing drama, and they did a great job this season of delving into. We moved into the Princess Charles, Lady Di stuff this season. So the way that The Crown worked was the first 2 seasons were one acting troupe as it was very young Queen Elizabeth into, getting into her 30s, and then they pivoted to an older version as we continued on.
Now, is this based on true life, or is it here's Princess Diana, but here's kind of what maybe happened? Is it more fictional than real?
They're claiming that so we looked up a lot of this stuff, and what they're claiming is they can substantiate the things that they put into this show. So what they're saying is what you see in The Crown is what the best, all intents and purposes, is what they believe is their interpretation of what happened. It obviously is, no one was in the room when Lady Di talked to Queen Elizabeth and all this kind of stuff, but they've talked to a lot of, because there's so many moving parts to these royal families, you can't keep everyone quiet. And that's what it boils down to. So this is another 10 episode season. And again, it's got the later cast that's in it. The girl that they cast to play Lady Di looks amazing. She's that like very wafy kind of, like how Lady Di was. I got to tell you though, so out of the 4 seasons, I ranked this one last. So it got so much into the Charles and Lady Di stuff, I got bored of it because it was like their marriage falling apart for like half of the season. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I get this is what's happening. And I get this is a huge draw for the show. But, like, I'm into it for, like, the palace intrigue and, like, how they handle things. There's a great stuff with, like, Margaret Thatcher through it, who one of England's longest-serving prime ministers, if not the longest-serving prime minister, played by Gillian Anderson of The X-Files. And she does a really great job, and kind of they get into her relationship with the queen, and then, like, the problem is for this show, so the least favorite of the 4 seasons is still an 8 out of 10. It's still a good show.
Yeah, it's
but the other seasons are just so compelling.
You watched the whole season already?
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it.
How many episodes are in a season?
There's 10 in this particular season, and I think that they're usually about 8 to 10 on the other ones and stuff. I highly recommend watching The Crown. If you have Netflix, and I would be intrigued by someone like BV or even Steve. So BV kind of found Mandalorian not really into the subject matter, but could watch it and appreciate it. I'm curious to see if someone like BV and Abby started watching The Crown, what they would think of it. I just, like I said, I come to it from like a political intrigue thing, and then like I think that this season was a little bit off just because it was just so much with the Lady Di stuff. And, I mean, they go into it like she's bulimic and she's making herself puke. She's having affairs. The Camilla Parker Bowles chick with the Prince Charles. And they get into a lot of stuff. And, again, everything that they put into that show, they claim they can source it and explain where it came from and all this. I don't think there's a lot of speculation is what I'm trying to say. It's a great show. It is a great show. It's just, for me, this season was only good, not great, which is what I come to that show because it's so great. So that's why I'm going to hit with an 8 out of 10. A little too heavy-handed with the Princess Di and the Charles stuff. It's almost like, you know how we got bored of it in the late 80s and early 90s? I got bored of it watching it again because it was just like so much.
Thrown in your
Yeah,
face
it was
again.
like, okay, I get it, man. They don't like each other. Next topic. You know? It was like, okay, come on, keep it moving. And I struggled with that a little bit.
So 8 out of 10. Now, Charles, you watched the Peanuts Thanksgiving special?
Yeah, I did, ironically enough. Me and my family watched the Peanuts Thanksgiving special. And I just brought this up. So it's the old school Peanuts Thanksgiving special. I don't know if BV's ever seen it. Steve, I know you have, where he serves all of his friends toast. It's just,
Bill has seen it.
yeah, it's super entertaining. But I just brought it up more of like, I don't know what Apple Plus is doing with this. Like, I signed up for all the Peanuts, and we're weirdly going to, like, hold on to, like, these American treasures in some way and, like, put them behind a weird paywall for people. Like, That does. You just look greedy and weird. I don't know what's
Well,
going
they
on.
cut a deal that they're going to put it on PBS.
Okay.
And PBS, we got something.
Yeah,
That's the first thing they've
what the
had in
hell?
years.
I don't know. It struck me very odd, and they come off just like, to me, like, Lorna loves the Peanuts now because we watch them all the time around the holidays, and I think that more family, like, it's one thing if you license like the new Peanut movie because that was kind of made in a world where that kind of system exists and you're not taking it back. These movies were such a part of people's childhoods, into like people wanting to show them to their kids to kind of make it. Apple Plus just, I don't agree.
Yeah,
with
but at the
this,
same
and
time, who usually shows ABC or whatever?
I think
NBC?
CBS maybe.
CBS,
I don't know.
So
I
why
could be
should they
wrong.
get all the money and advertisement money for it?
Yeah, but it's only a half hour long. How much
I don't
money
know.
are you banging off of this thing? It just seems to me to not get it in front of as many eyeballs and younger generations does the Peanuts franchise for me like a disservice in some way. I don't know how to explain it. I just
Because we've
don't.
covered on this podcast many times. Anything to do with Apple, there's a certain level of douchery to go with it.
Yeah, so we went on there and we were gonna watch the Thanksgiving one into the Christmas one, but then the Christmas one wasn't on there, and I don't know if that's a timed thing or, like you said, did they sell the rights somewhere else?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a whole thing, and I would hate to be at a house where like you couldn't just randomly turn on the Peanuts special on a holiday. It just seems weird to me.
So out of the three, the Christmas, the Halloween, and the Thanksgiving, what's the best one?
Oh, the Christmas one, hands down. I mean, what are we talking about? Is this even a conversation?
That tree, he puts it.
It's amazing.
falls
And then,
over.
like, when Linus always does his like diatribes into like the meaning of holidays and stuff, and then it's followed by the Great Pumpkin into Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is probably the least out of the three.
It's
but-
great. Vivi, you have any affinity towards the Peanut movies at all?
Oh yeah, I grew up watching all that stuff.
And yeah.
It's
like Americana, right?
Christmas is the marquee one. It's by far the best. But,
Yeah. And
yeah,
do
watch
you
them
find
all.
it weird that Apple took over the rights and all that? You find all that kind of like, oh.
I find a lot of things weird with this. I don't want to sound too much like the get off my lawn, the way things used to be, but these kind of shows should stay on free network television. You shouldn't have to join a pay service to watch these. These are kind of like those timeless holiday classics.
It's like Americana, right?
Exactly.
It's just that,
There's nothing sacred. I mean, do we really have to put this behind, as you said, behind a paywall?
Yeah, it seems a little weird.
Well, you won't. You just need
I don't like
PBS.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, of course the answer is yes, but
I don't think they care. And like I said, Charles Schultz's estate at this point probably has bills to pay. I mean, where do you lie on that, Steve? You find it a little weird? What do you?
Yeah, I mean, you could have left it on network. And my thought would be those three, the holiday ones, leave on Rally TV. Anything new, like the Snoopy in space.
That's
and
what I'm
stuff,
saying. Like, that's
leave
what I
on
kind of
Apple.
thought. Yeah, you could, going forward, you knew.
But when you
that
buy them all, you get them all, right?
you
So-
buy the catalog.
Yeah, so that's your money, and they probably spent big money for it. So at the same time, what are you gonna do? Everybody's trying to get you to sign up.
The world sucks.
Sign it up. Everything's monthly. So you're talking about those great Christmas specials, and then we're going to the Lego Star Wars Christmas special for my animation corner, and that was not a classic. So Lego, you either get the Lego movie, like the one with Chris Pratt in, which was really funny, and adults and kids liked it. Same thing with the Lego Batman
It hit on like
movie.
that Shrek nerve. Where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
you
okay.
get those, and then there's also the TV Lego stuff, which, unless you're 3, is terrible, and this falls in that category. So, the story is Ray and all of them are getting together they call it Life Day, which is essentially their version of Christmas. Okay. And Ray finds this crystal, and what it ends up doing is lets her zap through time. So she ends up going. She shows up at the trench run for Star Wars, or she shows up in the Emperor's throne room, and then the Emperor gets a hold of it.
Are they voiced by the actors that
Only
we come
one,
to
only
know?
Ray.
Only. And what's her name? Ridley. Daisy
Yeah, Daisy
or
Ridley.
something?
She's the only one. All the rest are just made up voices and stuff. So, I mean, if you're 4, you'll probably love this. I wanted to
This
give
is a
something
Disney
to
Plus
try.
thing, right?
Yeah, Disney Plus. I was trying to justify why I have Disney Plus besides The Mandalorian, and right now it's still just The
Two
Mandalorian.
things: Jeff Goldblum and the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
it.
the one thing I will give credit to any kind of Lego thing is how they animate all that different Lego stuff. And like when you're doing the trench run, you see like the whole trench made of Legos. You know how I'm talking about?
I know
like,
exactly what you're
I
talking
mean,
about.
it's pretty. They must have some hellified computer programs that are making all that stuff.
I wonder if it's easier because it's Lego, though. You know? What
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like, I
it's
wonder
just-
because like the games look great too. When you do like the
Yeah.
games and they pieces fall apart and stuff like that. But I don't know if I want to watch a holiday special.
Yeah, this is a 2 out of 10. Unless
No.
you're 4 years old, you might love it. Anything after that, don't watch this. Now, this next one, it slipped under the radar. It was on Cartoon
It
Network.
didn't for me because my daughter's obsessed with Teen Titans.
You saw
and
this?
I've seen one episode of it.
You saw one too many.
Yeah, it is
Thundercats
terrible.
roar. Basically, some executive said they like that Teen Titans Go.
Yup.
What do we got still? Oh, we got that. Make a Teen Titans Thundercats.
It's like Adventures of Gumball meets Teen Titans.
Yeah, it's like
meets-
Adventure
yeah,
Time drew
yep,
this.
yep.
Where Teen Titans is funny. This wasn't even funny. I don't even know what target. I don't even think kids would. Did Lorna like it?
No, we watched the one. We're like, what is this? What's going on?
Well, good news is it didn't make it past one season. It's already been canceled.
Oh, really?
So I guess they got 4 more episodes left to air. But
Burn out what they got in the
yeah,
can.
I caught it. I never knew about it because I saw the canceled thing. I was like, well, let me watch this. Maybe it's funny like Teen Titans. Oh, it was bad. It was terrible. Thundercats.
It just goes
roar.
to show you, for me, how good Teen Titans Go is. That show is so impeccably done to me. It
Yeah,
is
they
so
got
good
the right writers on that.
that whenever
one.
my daughter watches anything else on Cartoon Network, I'm like, this is terrible. Like, what is this? Every time.
Yeah. So I don't know what to tell you. That was terrible. Stay away from. So Steve's Animation Corner was a big 0 for 2 this weekend.
What do you give Thundercats out of 10?
Oh, I give it a 1, and that's being nice. I mean, I don't know. I give it a 1 because the episode I saw was only 16 minutes long, so it gets a 1 there. But boy, that was just bad. I don't know. All right, so that's our look this week. We didn't hit too many home runs. And before Bill, you make your pick, I do want to say one thing though. I was right on Rutgers and Michigan.
Yes, you were.
I
Yeah.
should have took Rutgers. Damn it. But anyways, Bill, go ahead. And you got hosed last week, BB, just so you know.
That seems to be happening regularly. And you know what? And at least for part of it, because I decided, we were talking about maybe we do a college game too. So I decided to do one of each. I didn't go with the pick in college that my gut told me to take, and I think I'm going to pay for it. But
What was your gut? Alabama?
so, but first, no, what? Not that game. No, you'll see.
Oh.
So Vikings Cowboys last week. Vikings were giving up 7. Cowboys had basically quit. Well, I guess they did against a crap team like Washington Thursday, but lo and behold, they suddenly show up and the Vikings decide to go Kirk Cousins, and the Cowboys end up winning the game, 31-28. So
Did you see the
Not
one
only did they
catch
not-
the Dallas receiver had falling down?
CeeDee Lamb, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's on. Bill's getting screwed.
Oh yeah,
As soon as I saw that.
So now, so after a nice, 3-game winning streak, now 2 losses in a row. I'm 6-5 for the year. I'm my overall cash thing is I'm still up $4.70 for the year. Yeah, shocking. I'm surprised. So yeah, I don't know. This just goes to show that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I told you in the beginning there's no lock to this whatsoever. But going into, so I was looking at college games, and I guess I'll start with a game that I really wanted to take, but just couldn't do it. So I looked at the line, and I've been thinking, looking at that game that's actually going on right now between your boy Jimbo's Texas A&M team and LSU. And Texas A&M's laying 15.5 points. My gut tells me they're going to just run over LSU because LSU is
LSU's
trash
terrible
right
this
now.
year, yeah.
But 15.5 points, and the weather was supposed to be kind of iffy, and so I talked myself out of it. So they're currently up 10-0. A&M is in the first quarter. So we'll see how that goes.
Keep an eye on that for BV gets
So
screwed.
instead, I was doing a little bit of looking some things up, and don't really have like particularly strong research on this game or whatever. But
You have no way of having research on this game hardly at all.
well,
right?
considering so I ended up taking the Washington Huskies,
I don't know.
who are
nothing
playing
about
at
this team
home
this year.
against Utah and giving 7 points. So Utah's only played 1 game so far this year, and they got smoked I think it was last week against USC, who's supposed to be good, but you know how that goes. They probably won't be. Washington's looked good in a couple wins. Home game, Utah's turnover prone, or at least they were certainly turnover prone against USC. Currently, they both get the ball early on. They exchange turnovers, and then Utah just scored a touchdown, so they're up 7-0 on Washington. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm already kicking myself, and I'm sure it'll come back to bite me. This is actually was a minus 113, so Washington was a little bit more of a favorite. They liked the line that Washington was more likely to cover than in most, and so this $10 is only to win $18.90. So hoping that it'll turn itself around, but not feeling very strong about it because my gut told me to take A&M and just couldn't pull the trigger. So maybe I just should have done one game in the first place, but we'll see. So as for my normal NFL game, I really wanted to take, although it would almost be kind of like cheating, right, to take the Steelers. I think they were laying 8.5 against the Ravens. If they actually play that game, I mean, their entire offense basically, all their skill players, and no Lamar Jackson, neither of the running backs, Dobbins and Ingram are both out. That should just be a complete slaughter. But I have no confidence they're actually going to play the game on Tuesday. So, and looking at this, I saw Kansas City is playing at Tampa Bay. Kansas City's laying 3.5 points. My, if we want to call it cold lock of the week, it's Kansas City. Well, Kansas City's, full stride. They're unstoppable. Their offense is unstoppable.
Let every NFL commentator talk about it. Kansas City just can't be stopped. Like, as a Pittsburgh fan, my squad's undefeated, and I got to hear shit about Kansas City week in, week out.
Yeah, they can be.
They
stopped,
struggled against the Raiders last week.
Yeah, telling you, they had to come back. Yeah,
the Raiders got their number for some reason.
The Bucs aren't going to stop.
Chucky's a better team. Telling you,
so
it's a better team than people realize.
Oh no, they are pretty good actually. The Raiders.
I'm telling you.
So one of their best corners, Jamal Dean, the Bucs, is out. So Tyreek Hill should have a good, pretty strong advantage there. Bucs are having offensive line problems. I don't know if you've been watching.
I know that this is 24-10 written all over it.
Yeah, because AQ Shipley is a big. I think he's like friends with Pat McAfee, and so he got an injury last week and to his neck. He's their starting center. And they're advising him not to play football again, so it looks like a career ender. So there are some issues there. The kryptonite against Brady, like most quarterbacks, is if you can pressure him, you can give him a lot of trouble because he can't get away from anything.
His legs are made out of concrete, and he's 100.
Yeah, and he's 43 years old. Yeah. So I'm looking at one of, even though the game's at Tampa, it's a late start, so it's an afternoon game. It's not a 1 o'clock start. So, and KC's only coming from Central Time Zone anyway, so it's not quite as big a deal. I don't look at this as being a blowout, but I think I'm kind of thinking around your probably something like a 27-17 kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking KC laying at 3.5, and we'll see how that goes.
And our usual Steve.
I am 95% in with Bill in the Kansas City. I'm only 20% in with Washington. Not knocking Bill. I just don't know jack shit about either team this year. With the Washington and Utah, I don't know.
I don't either.
So I
don't think anyone does.
If I had to pick between the two, I probably would have took Washington. But 20% one, 95% other. But on the record, Bill got hosed last week. Cowboys show up for that game made no sense. But anyways.
And I'm with you. Like, according to what we've heard from the talking heads of all things NFL, Kansas City should mollywop the shit out of Tampa Bay, according to, because like I said, as a Steeler fan, I'm just tired of hearing about it. Like in every power rankings, my undefeated squad somehow is behind Mahomes, and I'm like, wait, am I missing something here? Like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
How do you undefeated but behind a team with a loss?
Well,
like,
because they got numbers on offense. And
okay,
people.
Bullshit.
Just like Tyson, you get nostalgia
Shut up,
balls.
Collinsworth.
I'm just telling you why.
What's that, BB?
They get style points.
Yeah. Whatever, man. It's bullshit. And I'm here to call it out.
Your talking heads always do that, right? I mean,
yeah.
And the team's got a prolific offense, and then the Steelers are just kind of
and everyone will point to the Dallas game.
Yeah, when they struggled against Dallas. Yeah. But I'm saying is shit to get out the pot, Kansas City. If you can't beat Tom Brady, who all intents and purposes look like they're having some real issues in Buckland because they added locker room cancer for Antonio Brown. I told you guys you can't add him. He's cancer.
This is gonna go back to the clownfish.
I mean, they are also
The
the
symbiotic
reigning champs, so
relationship.
they're going to get a little credit for that, too.
And I don't know where the hell BB pulled out a Pac-12 game.
I don't know.
Why are you in such a Pac-12 game right now? Dude, half
I
the
don't-
country doesn't know they're playing right now.
Pac-12 and not USC.
Yeah, what the
I
fuck?
was just trying to find a game, and that looked like the most.
For the
looking at
record,
the-
did you guys watch?
Because I wanted to pick a game that wouldn't have already been basically over by the time we start.
Congratulations, you found it.
Did you guys happen to catch the Oregon State game late last night? Well, you didn't even know football was on.
Dude, I had no clue.
A fog
not,
set
no.
in.
Oh,
It was so weird. It was like all dark, like fog everywhere. I was like, "Did someone have a firework display going on?" It was so weird. But anyway,
Let me ask you this: Would either? I mean, you might. Well, Charles, since you actually, would you have given LSU 15.5 points?
No way.
No.
When you get into those crazy numbers, I get super paranoid. You get anything above like a 10, 12, I'm out. I can't touch it unless it's like some Bama versus Citadel or something real
I might have took the
kooky.
Bama cover on the Auburn though.
I just don't trust any of that shit. When you get these, especially in a rivalry game, Steve, you have no idea.
26 points is a lot. I mean,
That's insane.
they were ranked like 12.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like they were playing Arkansas or something.
I don't know. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Somehow those rivalry. I mean, look at what MSU does. They oddly can show up for shit that they have no business being part of.
Yeah.
And this is year in, year out. So I don't like rivalry games. I try to avoid those. And you start talking 15.5. There's no way. That's way too crazy. For
Although
me.
I'm not watching that game at your house this year, so
Oh yeah.
yeah. Twice I've watched the Iron Bowl just for the people that are 2 or 3 people that are watching this. I'm not really into. I know our friend Wiggs is always called Steve a jinx, and I'm not really into the superstition kind of thing. But I have watched the Iron Bowl twice at Steve's house. The first time, my squad goes up 24-0 at the half in Tuscaloosa, and Scam Newton, leads Auburn back on a comeback to win 28-27. And then the second time was the infamous kick 6 game. So I'm not taking any more chances on that. I don't really believe it, but I still will never watch another Iron Bowl at Steve's house.
All right, so I'm a jinx, and we'll move on from there. But full disclosure, Bill got hosed. I don't know what the Vikings did last week. I was watching. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I was watching the highlights from that. This is ridiculous. Cowboys suck ass. So Charles, you are into a new VR technique.
Yeah. So we talked about
Bill
it.
found a picture of it.
Yeah, look at that. So
He bought a Chinese VR
yeah,
set.
so previous weeks, Steve was talking about how he got into VR with his Quest 2. I had the PlayStation VR, and I told Steve I was going to go down a whole rabbit hole and figure out a way to get this thing to work on PC. So I found this NOLO CV1. So I'm going to hand Steve all the equipment that is required to put a PlayStation VR onto a PC, and just wait and see this, folks.
All right, so first up.
So here's all the connections just for. Here's the
first
headset
you got the
proper.
Headset. You put the headset on.
Okay. So you got the headset proper. Oh, as Steve breaks the button in the back, Steve, don't break my headset. Okay.
I got the
So,
headset.
and then you got to hand here's all the connections.
So
just
then
for
I
the
got a couple
PlayStation.
connections.
Okay.
All right, so we're not playing yet. We're just getting set up.
So then we got to give him the connectivity for the CV1. This is going to allow the PlayStation VR to talk to the computer.
You connect this to the
Nope.
computer to the PlayStation.
Don't forget you got to charge all your stuff.
Oh,
there,
then you
Steve.
need a power cord.
And then you got your NOLO controllers, because the PlayStation Move controllers don't work with this. You got to get specific NOLO controllers.
To NOLO's, 2 dildos.
And then you got to put these things on your head so that you can actually track your head.
I had what?
That goes onto there to track the headset.
I put this on the head.
Yeah, there's a little clip I had in.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell
I
you.
can't see it. All right, that's good.
It seems incredibly crazy. And then this thing actually tracks all the whole thing.
And this goes on the
So
desk or
Steve,
computer.
that goes on the desk, pointed at you to track everything. Let me flip it over to Steve's PC or camera here. You can see how user-friendly this experience is.
That's rad.
Do you get a giant booklet that comes with this?
Let me tell you, it took me probably 2 to 3 hours of manipulating this whole system to get it to work. But I got to tell you, once you figure it out,
Oh.
it sounds crazy. But once I figured out all this, I didn't even try to do cable management because I was just trying to do proof of concept stuff that it would work. Once I figured it out, it's rock solid. It insanely works really good. But again,
Do these light up or just like this?
it just they replicate as a Vive in your VR, like in the Steam home world and all that kind of stuff. It seems insane. It's one of those
It does
things
seem
where-
a little insane.
but I gotta tell you, not only did I get Half-Life Alyx to work on my touchscreen PC with only a 1050 GeForce video card, this thing worked and worked flawlessly. I could not believe it, Steve. It was one of those things where you're like, okay, it took you a while. Like, so not only do you gotta, I got
Can you
this.
take some of this back now?
No, you gotta wear that for the rest of the show.
Oh, God.
So I paid $110 just over there on the pizza. I paid $110 for this on eBay. You needed this NOLO Home driver kit, and then you needed to get this iVRy driver within Steam to get this. Without YouTube, you never would have figured this shit out. Like, there's no way on. There's, like Steve said, it's incredibly Chinese. I don't know what Korean Chinese company makes this crap, but I gotta tell you, am I gonna recommend it? Oh hell yeah! Because like if you want,
Hell yeah.
if you want,
Well, recommend that or just get a Quest.
But a Quest costs. How much does your Quest cost?
$300.
$300. I paid $100 and I already had the PlayStation VR.
Well, how much did you pay for the PlayStation?
So that would be if you already had the PlayStation VR, it's a worthwhile endeavor. Is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Don't go out tomorrow. I'm not going to say if you walk in tomorrow and you're like, hey, I heard Charles and Steve on Fat Guys talking about playing VR, and I want to go down this road because I'm an idiot. Don't go and buy a Quest. You get one cable, done. But again, if you've got a PlayStation VR and you want to put some longer legs on it because you can't, like Steve said, they're kind of drying up a little bit on the PlayStation. I can recommend this NOLO CV1 all day for it. And again, there's a learning curve attached to it. It's not super easy. Welcome to the world of PC gaming. But once you got it working, it tracked me.
Do you need a Facebook account?
No, you do not.
See, there you go.
Oh, man. So, it's something to be said. But like I said, I can't. Shockingly enough, as crazy as all those cables I just heaped onto Steve, you can get it to work and work really good.
So how many cables go from the box to your face?
2.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, so there's the main umbilical cord for the PlayStation VR, and then it adds an additional one that does the little ball at the top. And you it looks kind of like on Star Wars where he's fighting the thing. It's kind of like but again, if you've got a PlayStation VR on your person already and you want to actually be able to play Half-Life Alyx or something like that, this shit worked. I don't know what else to say other than it did. Now, again, the resolution, I was telling Steve a little bit midweek about it. The resolution on the PlayStation VR is again not as optimized as I would think the Quest is. I think the Quest is a little crisper and all that kind of stuff. I'll be the first to tell you that. But if you had some of this hardware and for $100 to be able to go in you're not going to get a VR headset for $100. That shit just doesn't exist. So if you had a PlayStation VR and wanted to do
you
it,
think that this is how the coronavirus got over here to the Chinese?
it's entirely possible because that shit is Chinese as hell. So, but nonetheless, it works, people, and I'm shocked. And I'm gonna get through Half-Life Alyx. It not only did it play on this touchscreen, it was really playable. I had no issues. So shocked.
So there you go. So out of this whole setup, what are you rating it?
This I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It sounds insane. Like, because again, that first initial day before I bought the Half-Life Alyx, I had to do like proof of concept. Because like this shit, I'm not gonna plunk. And I actually got Half-Life Alyx for $45.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Black
on
Friday
sale
sale.
Black Friday. And I didn't want to plunk the money down until I made sure it worked. Because I'm like, this is just, what am I doing here? Like, I'm waiting. Initially, I couldn't get anything to show up on the screens. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I had to update firmwares. And it is completely not user-friendly. It is completely...
But you still gave it a 9.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Because it will make your PlayStation VR work on your PC.
If the Half-Life Alyx didn't exist, would you see yourself doing that?
Not at all.
You
No, not at all.
fiend.
Yeah,
addict.
it's so good, man. God, that game's good. And then the other thing I kind of brought up for a hard-earned review, just this week,
Bill found it.
Yeah, the PlayStation Portal TV, or the Facebook Portal TV, not PlayStation Portal. So what it does is it is like a video conferencing thing to all your Facebook contacts. So we initially in our house, and then the reason why we got into it is so that my mother-in-law can talk to my daughter, and it's a whole thing, and we act like we like each other and all that good jazz. So as we broadcast live on Facebook right now, you basically it's the Portal TV that we bought for $129, half off. And I'm going to talk about that because I think that it, at regular price, is way too expensive. It's one of those things where, like, Facebook shot for the moon, and now with Black Friday deals has come down to where it should be, I think. You can go into your Facebook. I called Steve. Steve was on the toilet when we called on his Portal TV.
I was taking a dump.
Yeah, anyone who has Facebook Messenger, though, you can call, and all you got to do is kind of say, hey, Portal TV, and the thing picks right up, and it'll say, do you want to call Steve while he's on the toilet? I said, yeah, sure. I am super impressed by this. Now, I'll tell you this, and Steve touched it earlier because he ran into it with the Quest. People hate Facebook.
Yes.
Everyone in the world is on Facebook, and it's the weirdest thing. Everyone, I am shocked by how many people you can call off this Portal TV because everyone has Messenger on their phone. It's the craziest thing. So everyone
now,
has.
whose account are you using on it? Heather's.
Heather's. I don't have a Facebook account. We are talking about this. I'm an old man. So, but it works really good. And if you have relatives, like a perfect example would be for someone like Bob. You said his dad lived in the Carolinas now, and he lives up here in Westland. You could get one for his dad down there, and you don't have to get the Portal TV. They make a frame version that you could do. And you could get a hold of his dad, and you just say, hey, call Dad onto your Portal. Hey, Portal, to call Dad. And it'll call his dad and everything like that. And you can set up a short list of who the people you want to call and stuff. And the quality on it's really good. The camera tracks you as you're walking around and talking and stuff. I'm a big fan of it. I know that, like Steve talked about it, I think the Quest product's really good. Although people would look at us and go, dude, you can't give Facebook your logins and all this shit. But
commies are watching Facebook.
We're going to talk about that a little
later. So
now,
why did you? I don't think you said why did you get rid? You had the Nucleus before.
Correct.
Why did you get rid of that?
We had the Nucleus, which was kind of a similar service, but there was no Facebook tie-in, so the Big Brother wasn't watching us then.
Oh.
And for some reason, they came out before the Echo shows came out, and I think Amazon kind of trounced them. So then they sent us a prompt like a couple months ago. It was like, we're going to start charging for our Nucleus service. And we were like, well, hold on a second. Like, the service was always free for like the 2+ years we had these things. Why would we pay for this service? It doesn't make any sense. So that's when, and again, we're going to talk a little bit later in my rant, certain members of my family didn't want an Amazon product in their house because they didn't think that it would be listening all the time. And that paranoia creeped into me. So then we know that certain members of our family are on Facebook, and for some reason, they didn't have the issue with the Facebook, just with the Amazon product. Yeah. So you got to find whatever product your crazy family members are cool with. And
Zuckerberg is not taking my info.
Yeah, but Bezos was. I don't know.
That creepy sleazo Bezos.
Really weird. So anyway, big thumbs up. I love my NOLO CV1. And the Portal TV, I'd give like an 8 out of 10. My only issue is I don't think you should pay it full price.
Wait, you bought 3 of these things?
We bought 4 of them because one's going to Kim. We're going to get Kim.
And $109, $129 a piece?
No, we bought 2 smaller frames, a bigger frame, and a Portal TV.
Oh.
So, but my point being,
those Ren Chuckle Charles.
Don't tell Christopher. But my point being, we were replacing some older tech. We'd given the Nucleus devices as Christmas gifts before. So then when they started, my mother-in-law was like, well, what do I do here? And I'm like, okay, well, hold on. We'll replace them and we'll do
Now, whose Facebook account do they use? Oh, Kathy has one.
Yeah. She loves her Facebook, and it's an approved service in that house, so it's cool. So, but again, I want to keep telling it, don't buy it full price. Not worth $260. It's literally a webcam with like HDMI cable in it. It's like $260 is a little outrageous.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
But $120, $130 is right in line with where you should pay.
Yeah. All right, folks. It's time to watch what's new. Time to wake Bill up. He's ready. He's excited.
I was paying attention to all of that.
He's gonna get a Facebook one
seriously.
for his parents.
Oh,
No, I don't see the point in it simply because you're adding new technology that you can do through your phones or through whatever with FaceTime or Skype or something else. Like
Or with your
I don't
iPad
quite-
on the toilet. That's what I'm thinking.
But so the reason why okay, so what you got to factor in here, BB, is that we're dealing with some different age groups. So
Okay.
we're trying to make the threshold very easy for certain age groups. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
I understand.
Yeah, and that's what imagine it's just like you just talk to a device in your house and you get to see whoever else you want to talk to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. So next we got what's new on TV, what you can watch this coming week. And first up, the Reagans. And yes, it's that Reagans. This is a documentary series on Showtime about Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan. And I don't know where they got the footage from or if it's stuff you haven't heard about.
Oh wait, so this is not actors portraying the
No,
Reagans?
this is real stuff. It's like a docuseries on them.
Oh wow.
Very timely. I don't know. I'm not. I'm over politics. This would just be more in the politics realm. So I'm a big no. Bill, what do you think about the Reagans?
Well, I don't have Showtime. I would like to see this, but not enough to where I'm going to pay for the Showtime, stream or anything like that. If I could see it free, I'd love to watch it. But
Yeah, Charles.
If it's like The Crown and it was like actually like kind of a melodrama, biography thing, I'd watch it. But you're saying it's just old footage? I don't know if I'm into that.
The description said it was a documentary series about Ronald Reagan and his life and stuff. I don't know. It seems like weird that it's coming out now. But next up is The Pack. This is on Amazon. Basically, dog owners and stuff, they get put through challenges. They say it's like the Amazing Race for dog owners. So they put
What would be an example of a challenge?
I have no idea. So you go here and make your dog do an obstacle course, and once your dog's done, you go to see the guy and tell him you're done. And first 8 teams done gets to move on. Yeah, no, I don't like Amazing Race. I don't like reality shows, so I'm out. Bill?
yeah, this is a little too far for me. I don't want to see people with their dogs doing challenges for. They already show those obstacle course things on TV. Anytime there's going to be like a major dog show, they show the agility stuff before that. If you want to watch it, you can see it. There doesn't need to be a reality show to have it. I don't get it. So no.
You missed the Achilles heel in this conversation. It's an Amazon show, which means it sucks. All right? And that's the problem.
Side note, that show Utopia I told you a couple months ago and it ended on a cliffhanger, so got canceled yesterday.
Oh,
So
really? That was
never
one you
get
kind of liked. Yeah,
yeah,
you were
Rainn
in-
Wilson was in
yeah.
it. Yeah, I'll never know how it ends.
Maybe they'll do
This is why I don't like new
a
TV
graphic
shows.
novel.
Yeah. Next up, Big Sky. This is that Ryan Phillippe show they've been showing everywhere. It's in the
It's got a
wilderness.
Twin Peaks kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it's on CBS, so I'm a no. Bill?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the commercials for it. It doesn't appeal to me at all.
And it's on CBS, which means it's for the same people that need a portal TV. I'm a no.
Next up, Selena the Series. And yes, that Selena that they already made a movie about.
You put it in the notes. Yes, that's Selena.
I don't understand the love for this woman. When did she die now? This is early 90s, I'm going to guess.
I loved her, though.
I mean, Jesus, I didn't know she had such a huge following.
1995.
Yeah, 95. They've made a movie with
25
Jennifer
years
Lopez
ago.
as
Wow.
playing her. I'm a no. No, thank you. Bill?
Yeah, I don't get. It's time to let it go.
Yeah, just like Princess Di.
Well, the
And
thing
Ronald
is, too,
Reagan.
is okay. I understand that she was huge in the Latin community, and particularly in I think Mexico, but I mean we were of that time frame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever actually hear a Selena song on American radio?
No, not that I know
I mean,
of.
if it wasn't for the fact that they did that movie about her and made a big deal about it when she died, I wouldn't have any idea who the hell she was.
Yeah.
So, still no, 25 years later.
That's why I said yes, that's Selena getting the notes.
Yeah, you're right on with that one. I'm with you guys. Who's watching this? There must be an audience. I don't know. It's not
Out
for
west,
me.
maybe.
Yeah.
In Mexico, maybe.
I got nothing. I'm a no.
Yeah. I mean, they only made one La Bamba.
Look, give Richie Valens some love.
I know, he was much more important. Make a series after him. All right, so next up, these people I am convinced are going to be the first ever to retire from MTV. Jersey Shore.
I don't know if you've seen some of those people that are on the challenges too.
So, Family Vacation season 4. I had no clue they were even on television still, so I'm a no. I've never watched more than 5 minutes of a Jersey Shore episode. Bill, your thoughts?
Well, I again, only because I saw a commercial listed, I know they were on TV. My question is why?
Somebody must be
They're
watching.
they're all older. They all have family. Like, who cares at this point?
Yeah, they're going to be in the retirement plan here coming up.
I liked the Jersey Shore. I did. This is getting out of hand. I liked it. I think they're funny people. This is too much. I'm a no.
The next episode, Jersey Shore AARP, is coming up.
It's crazy.
You can watch that next.
Well, the first one they kind of came back was kind of interesting because he had all those legal troubles, and that was kind of interesting. And then the one guy was getting beat up by his wife and all that. It was kind of interesting. It's just too much. I don't know.
Jersey Shore, we apply for Medicare is coming up also. So there's some new series coming next. And then finally, this looks absolutely terrible. Disney Holiday Sing-Along. There was one back in Easter, right when all the COVID started, and they all sat there on their Zoom meetings singing, no, this is going to be hot trash garbage. I can't believe they're doing this again. Ryan Seacrest is hosting again. He has a beard and lost a ton of weight. He literally looks like another POW.
Oh, wow.
So either that or he has cancer. I don't know. No thank you on the Disney Holiday Sing-Along. Bill, are you singing along to Mulan?
Well, I wouldn't know the words to sing along anyway because I've never seen Mulan, but like, do they have? I mean, I don't get. Is it like with the? I'm not going to watch it.
It's going to be goddamn Josh Gad.
You
know
it
is.
He's
Josh Gad is terrible.
It's not going to be like you're going to have the animated characters on there doing it.
No, these are actual actors.
Some
It's
CG
going to be like the
level.
weird play people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. No.
And again, Josh Gad, I hate you. No.
He is starting to get a little bit of
who is
nails.
Josh Gad.
Exactly.
He's everywhere.
Yeah,
Look to your right. He's probably sitting right next to you.
Boom, there's Olaf sitting right there.
He's right goddamn there. He's everywhere. Him and the Jersey Shore guys are everywhere. I don't know. He's the voice of Olaf from
He's
Frozen.
in everything.
He's a little fat guy with curly black hair.
Okay.
Sure, he's a nice enough guy, but get off my TV.
At first, he was all right, but goddamn, they put him in everything. So, all right, Charles, what happens in Punch Your Face World?
Yeah, so I just kind of put this. We talked kind of a little bit at length last week of how terrible UFC 255's card was, and I just wanted to go.
Didn't one of them get pushed off because of COVID, or is that this upcoming one? There's some fighter in UFC that had to get postponed.
The
this fight.
3 mains that went, so I don't know.
This must be today or tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, there's a fight tonight with Anthony Smith, so I don't know what's going on there. But I talked about how terrible this card was. So this past Saturday, Davis and Figueiredo, like a little dude, beat up another little dude named Alex Perez for the title. No one cared.
So the winner is the leader of the Lollipop Gang?
Yeah, dude, it's bad. So just be aware that, and I'm going to go over this here in a second. So Valentino Shevchenko, BV says he's heard of her last week. She's got a little bit of a name. Jennifer Myers, a little bit of a name. Who cares? Mike Perry won a decision over Tim Means. Mike Perry didn't make weight, so it didn't even count. It was a whole thing. But the best part was, so UFC 254 only sold 675, was considered a bust. UFC 255, from best I can tell when I dug around, because I wanted to tell you guys about this, only sold 587,000 buys, which for them is terrible. And that's what it boils down to. They had no card.
At this point, they're entering WWE level. Let's pump the brakes.
Much, yeah.
Once a month pay-per-view. You can have fight nights on ESPN Plus every
People
Saturday.
are just waiting for that Dustin Poirier Conor McGregor fight.
I mean, Jesus, you got to pump the brakes on some of these pay-per-views. Who's buying all these?
$65 too, man. It's crazy. And
I mean, considering 600,000 people at $65, it's still a good chunk of change. But
nonetheless, when you're used to getting buys in the millions, it's a come down. And to your point, saturation is what I think is really it's killing the product.
Yeah,
so that's my take.
Yeah, but there is a UFC guy. There was supposed to be some fight. I don't know if it's tonight or it hit COVID because it said on ESPN, and so his fight got moved.
I'm sure there's going to be some issues with that. I mean,
no
one is immune to it, and I mean, a lot of people, it's hitting everybody. So it is what it is.
So Bill never really. Oh, I take that back. Bill did collect some baseball cards, but you never really hit the collector bug as bad as Bert
Well,
and
I'll
I.
tell you this: I don't sell my video games. I keep
Mm.
all of my video games. I make a point to not. For some reason, I oddly keep all of them, all the way back to. I told you I had my original Mafia on PC in my basement. So.
But you would say that Bert and I probably had the biggest collector bug out of everyone we know.
Well, you and your annoying
Brack
wife,
maybe.
yeah.
Well, my wife's a whole other level. That's, I mean, collecting stuff that we enjoy. My wife collects just to collect for sometimes. So this one's right up. God damn it, we all own this. Recently at an auction, a copy of Super Mario Bros. 3, unopened, still in the plastic, also was graded in a piece of plastic because I looked it up.
Was it just completely? Was it like basically come out of a Nintendo box and then right into this box? Is that what?
Yeah,
it
so
was
it was still in the
insane
plastic
number.
you would buy at Toys
Like,
R
it's
Us.
shrink wrap proper.
They sent it off somewhere to get graded, and then they put
was
it in
never
that
circulated
plastic,
or
never
anything like
so
that. That's what I'm
whoever
saying.
bought it back
Had
in
no price glue on it or
1988,
just pristinely held
yeah,
on.
bought it to pristinely hold on to it, or randomly ran into it later in life and bought it. And kept
This
it.
has no weird lineage to it at all. 'Cause this
Not
number
too much.
seems insane to me.
Yeah. Well, we can click the article. You read it. It's but $156,000 this game went. A copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. And I think probably I'm not going too far off that all three of us owned this game at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a pack-in, later in the life cycle of the NES and everything. So.
Bill, you probably owned you probably owned Mario at one point, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Jesus, $156,000. And you know what? When you jump in Luigi, it goes. No, actually, he didn't do that.
It was
in that
two,
one.
right?
Yeah, that was two. But so all you collectors out there,
I just feel like this has got to be
There's
a
that-
weird edition.
yeah, maybe it's a
be.
Japanese run.
Yeah, I
one.
don't understand why it's that seems like an insane premium to me. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
was on Engadget.
No, I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong, but like it almost had to be like an international uncirculated or something. Something had to make this unique. It couldn't have just been a standard like should have shown up at a Toys R Us and never made it to the shelf. That just seems crazy to me.
Oh, here it is. What makes this particular copy so valuable is a rare box design variant.
There's
The word brothers is typically on the right, whereas this one it's on
Okay.
the left.
There it is. Okay.
So we
Like
wouldn't have owned the 156,000.
Just like the 1981 Dunruss card that had like the wrong jersey on.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like that's exactly.
It all goes back
It
to
just
Dunruss.
seemed like that was an insane premium for a Mario 3. It just seemed crazy.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
I bet you, like, still, you probably get half that for like a pristine copy of like an original properly.
Yeah, I
uncirculated.
mean, there it
bet
is. You can
could.
see it in the plastic. See the plastic?
Oh,
thing?
it's smart on them to get
Yeah.
it graded and everything. It's great.
But how would you like so random chubby little Steve or Charles or Bill? I mean, looking at that box and the brothers over here, I couldn't even tell that was like a misprint or
Yeah.
a different. Like I'd have been like, oh, whatever. But whoever at the time bought this knew that was in the wrong
Yeah, I
spot.
don't know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty. I think it's dumb luck. So this next news article I put on here because I know you own a pair of these. Amazon Echo earbuds now can track your workout, so you can now.
I'm unsure. So I use my Fitness Pal, so I don't understand the integration, like how it would work, or I don't understand. I don't know.
I don't. I'm gonna assume there's an app from Amazon that
There is. It couples with the Alexa app on your phone and stuff like that.
So
but
you probably have to tell the earbud you're working out. It'll probably
Yeah, I
track
don't
your heart rate. It'll probably check your steps.
Yeah, I
You can just take that Fitbit, and chuck it against the wall. Speaking of which, my Fitbit wristband broke.
oh, well, you should get a million of them for like dirt
Yeah,
cheap.
I have Michelle.
Yeah,
Michelle ordered me some new ones.
yeah
so I'm
you just
waiting
get
for it,
them.
but-
I have a bunch of replacement bands. And
But I
stuff.
do like to see tech that we already own that gets new features as
Iterating
we
on
go,
it, yeah.
like Google Home and Alexa and stuff like that. That is something. It's just kind of encouraging knowing you don't have to go out and buy a brand new one.
Yeah.
It's usually an old practice would be, well, the Echo earbuds version 2 for.
Well, and you know what this is? This is them probably iterating to version 2, and they're like, "Well, you throw out of the old one."
yeah. So there we go. Now this is a random fact that
And
came up.
back to the point, though, I don't want to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like I really enjoy my Amazon Echo Buds. They're again,
Still
I highly
out there?
recommend those. Yeah, I didn't realize how much I'd use them and love them. I really enjoy the product.
It's still staying in your ear the whole time you're working
Yeah,
out.
I
not
really
falling out?
like them a lot.
There's nothing worse when you review something, and then 2 or 3 weeks later you're like, this kind of sucks. That
Yeah,
happened
or
to
like
me on
it
a
just,
couple
you
things.
you realize that you couldn't use it as much as you probably could.
Yeah,
have,
it's
or
like
something
it's
like
not
that.
as smooth as you thought it was
Yeah,
going to be.
I don't know, man. Those
NVIDIA
Echo
Shield.
Buds, man. I'm using those on the every day on the bus at work, and just anytime I get a minute, just pop them in. I really enjoy those.
So this is a random fact. If anyone ever wondered how much the wheel on The Price is Right, the one you spin to go to the Showcase Showdown, it weighs an average of 2,000 pounds. They looked it up on the radio the other day, and I when I got to work, I had to look it up too, and it sure should enough, that's what it weighs. Of course, it spins, so you don't lift all 2,000 pounds, but I thought that
people are really putting some inertia in that thing when you see them really get going.
And then those little old ladies that can barely move it.
Yeah, and then they get going.
Just around all the way once.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, spin it again. But random fact of the day, if anyone ever wanted to know, so if that ever comes up at trivia later in life, how much does the Wheel of Fortune?
$2K.
So there you go. Charles, you're familiar with The Last of Us, correct?
Yeah, so well thought of Naughty Dog games. It was something to do with, what is it, fungus that was going on?
Yeah, some
like
kind of
that.
virus that broke out.
It's one of those, it's a pile of shame game for me. I probably need to put a little more effort into getting through it, I would say.
Pile of shame
Yeah, it looks like it's a really good
Well,
game.
maybe you don't have to, because you'll probably be able to watch the HBO series. They won the bidding war. They are going to make a show after The Last of Us. It'll probably come out the same time the Halo Showtime show is going to come out, which is never, because I don't know. That's been in development for 10 years now. So The Last of Us will be coming to HBO. Let's hope that it beats the old track record of video game to movie / TV show, thing like that. Now, this other
It's
news,
good that it's coming to HBO, I think. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
a positive.
They don't have to beat around the bush. They can, show some actual violence and real stuff.
So you just want to see some titty.
Some lesbian titty all over the place. And then The Predator. There's a new movie for The Predator. Now, what I wanted to ask you guys, do you think... I feel like The Predator is done and just stop with the movies.
It's much like as you described your Tyson nostalgia balls.
Yeah.
I think that the original one is an amazing motion picture that goes and doesn't do itself justice. Like how much you actually loved that movie, where you were in that life,
Yeah.
and how good it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just trying to capture that magic again. It's just not that good.
And you could take parts of Alien vs. Predator that you kind of liked, or maybe even some of the newer ones, but nothing lives up to that first one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Predator should just live on in the video game world, like a good Predator video game, guest stars in Mortal Kombat.
But
I
name
think
me a good Predator game.
Well, there hasn't been one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Maybe
well, I mean,
I don't. If you're gonna keep it alive, that would be my guess. But
I'm weird.
we know that's not how Hollywood works.
I think Predator's a great movie, but in the my weird obsession with Arnold and stuff like that, I don't love Predator relative to like Commando and Terminator and stuff like that. Like, for me, I'd rather watch those two than I would watch Predator.
I
really
like
would.
Predator better than Commando.
I love Commando.
Commando is excessively bad.
I
You
know,
watched
it's
that?
so good. It's so
Oh.
good.
Bill, rank the Schwarzenegger movies. Which ones are you watching?
Terminator over both of the other ones.
Yeah.
But I could kind of take or leave both Predator and Commando.
Where do you rank Kindergarten Cop in your?
I actually, one of the ones I liked of him during that time frame a little bit later was The Running Man.
Yeah,
Oh,
Running
that's
Man's a
good.
great movie too.
See, I like Conan too, though. So I put Terminator, then Conan. Those are the top two.
I'm just telling you, I think that I love Predator, but I would rank some other ones ahead of it, and the Conan movies are great too.
Yeah, Conan. Yeah. So, all right. So there you go. The new Predator. Now, Bill, you
What
said
the hell is this?
there's video of it. You have to see it. Bill, you said you watched a little Korean baseball, didn't you?
I tried when
Yeah.
the season first started. Yeah.
So when they won their World Series, I saw the highlights. The teams in the middle of the field, they wheeled this giant sword
How
out.
giant is giant? Like Final Fantasy giant?
Yes. I wish I could find.
Like, it's that big? Like they're
Yes.
like out there like freaking, what do you call it? Cloud or whatever
Like
it
here
is?
it is.
It's like into a trophy.
It's the best trophy in sports, all of sports. I'm pretty
It's
convinced.
got to be a good.
Look at this sword.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's
That's
taller
so
than
Korean.
Yeah,
Dude. It
it is
really
very-
is
It's
so.
taller than the barrier for the dugout. So
Yeah, look, then they're gonna pull it
Yeah.
out.
It's a huge anime sword. I mean, I don't know what else.
That's the best trophy in sports right now. Look at this thing.
It is like a huge anime sword. It's really weird. I don't know. Man.
I thought that was very funny. So it was a segment on ESPN actually. They still vote the Stanley Cup as the best trophy, but this is a close second. I don't know. I think I'd rather have the sword than a cup. Now, some sports leagues got to have a giant shield for the winner, right? Yeah, but I just thought that was pretty funny. So that's going to wrap it up for the news.
And then I just said, like I said, we talked a little bit about it earlier just for a rant or whatever. We've talked about it before, man, and Steve brought it up during the quest and all that. These people that I ran into it hard. Like, you shouldn't have an issue with a company stealing your information. What I'm saying is by that, unless you live in a hole somewhere, someone is selling your information or aggregating your information to make money off of it. It is unbelievable that you'd pick out one company over another company. Because I guarantee you, if you have a cell phone in your pocket, if you belong to any websites, but then, like I said, like kind of in the rant or whatever, how do you think Facebook's supposed to make money? They're just
Well,
supposed
what if I
to
belong to a right-wing website?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that they would target your information too.
Yeah.
I don't
Considering
know.
the fact that I was an NRA member for a year, and they called me 3 times a day for 6 months until I finally blew up at them on the phone, telling them I'm not going to frickin' renew. I had to actually start cussing somebody out before they stopped calling me every day. so yeah, they do it too.
Yeah, it's but certain companies get, and I guess in trouble would be the word, or like really thought of. And Steve hit the nail on the head with his Quest 2, and all the reviews pointed to like this terrible, why do I got to log in on Facebook? Meanwhile, everyone's on Facebook. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think as Americans,
Bring it down, Steve.
every decade, there's something you have to hate, right? So in the 80s, we had to hate the Russians and the commies. And they also had to hate a major corporation of some sort, right? So who was the corporation in the 90s, right? It was Microsoft for the longest time. You got to hate Microsoft. Fucking Bill Gates. Fuck him. He just
And then
steal
kind of
everything.
the operating system took a back page to like.
Oh, in the 80s, it was the Japanese car companies. You cannot like them.
Yeah.
Buy American. They're going to take our
that's a good
jobs.
point,
Yeah, so you had to do that.
That's a good analog.
90s was Microsoft, and now in the 2000s is Facebook. It probably a little Google too, because that
Google
DuckDuckGo's
got-
getting. But you know what's amazing is Amazon gets a free fucking. Well, Amazon sends me boxes. So.
and they're really quick with those boxes.
Amazon,
really weird.
Amazon only knows how many nut hairs you have, but they're okay.
But like at the same time, and again, my house is littered with Alexas. I don't care. Like so, and everyone who's listening to this show or who has listened to any of the random stuff we talk about, you've bought something or clicked on some targeted advertising. I know you have. You can sit there and claim you didn't. Yeah, I know everyone in this goddamn world has been like, I might need that.
You know what they keep giving me on Facebook though? Fucking compression socks that don't look terrible. I'm like,
Yeah, see what I'm talking about? But like, shame on Facebook for giving you something you might need. It's so weird. It's
Bill, what are your thoughts on this?
It's unrealistic to think that this isn't happening at every level of your life outside of what you do. The thing is, if you're that troubled by it, these are all private companies. They're profit motive, capitalism at its finest. Don't subscribe. Don't join. Don't have it in your house.
But what's so funny about what BV said though is, and I agree with him. If you don't like it, don't participate. But like, why do some things stick in people's craws really hard that others don't? It's like you said, like. Fuck Facebook, but hold on, Amazon. Like, it's
richest
so
guy in the
weird.
world.
Like,
the guy
why
owns
do
the Washington
consistent.
Post.
What's that
It's
mean?
not consistent because, like, for example, there's the people that just, fuck Facebook, but then, my family, or at least my parents, the idea of even putting any sort of an Amazon, Alexa, oh no, they're gonna steal our information. They're gonna ring doorbells. No, it's spying on us. It's whatever.
It's so
well, okay, great. Then that's fine. Then at least they don't buy it. They don't have it in the house.
But your mom's on Facebook talking about Jesus and guns.
Exactly.
Or they all have cell phones that are all. It's like
sharing all sorts of random stuff. Probably playing those little stupid flash games that take over your freaking computer with all sorts of freaking cookies and everything else.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird
that
mentality.
Worried about it.
And then like,
stay off the grid, son.
Yeah, it's just. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that drives me crazy is the weird pick and choose of the whole thing. Because like I feel like setting someone down like, okay, how did you come to hate that one so bad, but all the 3 other ones you're like, okay, I'm willing to accept that. It's just, it's a weird thing.
Like I said, as us Americans, we gotta hate something every generation. And like I said, like 80s was the commies, 90s was the Iraq and all them. You know, the guy hiding in a fucking hole in Iraq. We were supposed to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
And now recently it's North Koreans. We gotta be afraid of them. Oh no, North Koreans were 2000, 2010. Now it's the Chinese. We gotta hate the Chinese.
Well, we go to the Russians. The Russians stole
Yeah,
that.
Russians were 80s, yeah.
you
But
know,
Russians were mixed in there.
Yeah.
It's like,
because
I got a discussion with
But
Randy
again,
about that.
I would love to sit them people down and be like, okay, so how do you think Facebook pays the bills? Like,
Yeah.
how do you think they do?
You don't pay to be on Facebook?
Yeah, like, do you think that they're just willing to do all that work on the back end
Yeah.
just, to be nice to people and, like, give people a place to hang out together? It's a really weird mentality,
Yep.
man. I just can't. What do you got, BB?
Do people really think they're that important? Because the thing
That's
is
the other thing, too. Yeah.
People always look at this, particularly older people, everybody thinks that any electronic device now or any sort of website that involves any sort of, interactivity is Big Brother spying on you so that the government can. First of all, this just in, guys, you're not that fucking important.
Exactly.
Okay? What you do in your little 3-bedroom, 1-bath home in the middle of Illinois or
It's America,
Florida or
BB.
Michigan or whatever, what you do, not only do people not care about, it's not worth anybody's time to actually track. These companies are trying to get targeted information.
It's
so
real
they
to
can
me, damn
market
it.
to make more fucking money.
Yeah,
all right, it's not that they care about what you're doing.
You're a number
You're not
to
that
them.
damn special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Joe Rogan, but like when he starts getting into his conspiracy theories and all, it's like
he can go off the
I
deep end
love
pretty
you,
quick.
yeah. And it's like, dude, the show's great and very entertaining on certain subjects and all. But when you start going into like this whole how they're all tracking you and you're not that fucking, like BV said, 110%. I agree with him. Like you're not that important.
But you got to respect the people that are cashing in on this and selling VPNs to everybody. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is coming out. So you got all these companies like, there's a lot of paranoia out there.
Yeah,
Let's cash in on this.
And but like I said, I keep going back to it. It's just that pick and choose. How like somehow this company's cool, but fuck that company.
Yeah.
It's like they're all doing it.
Yeah.
And again, I guarantee you, BV's parents, as he was talking about, both have smartphones. Both, and they'll.
Sitting there with that iPhone all fucking day, playing around with like a goddamn teenager.
Yeah.
So the ghost of Steve Jobs allowed to have their information.
It's so weird.
Oh yeah, because that's not tracking shit.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's
'Cause
like
Amazon don't have any.
I'd love to.
Apple.
Wouldn't you love to just have like a spreadsheet that showed them like, oh, you know how you hated this company because they were going to spy on you? Look at your phone and just watch that graph. Go
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
Smart television that probably is videotaping
also
things.
true
when you-
too. Yeah.
And the thing, particularly with Amazon, like for example, like okay, whether or not if you want to get deep into the conspiracy theories about what's actually happening, if you're that worried about it, go into your damn Alexa app, delete everything
off
that
the
is picked up.
tracking, yeah.
It's off the tracker and delete things for the day or delete things for the entire your entire.
Well, why are they tracking it, BV? Like that should
Oh.
be. They should disclose that. It's like, dude, what are we talking about?
You know
It's-
what the track is. So they sell you
what
ads.
makes people think they're entitled to have everything disclosed to them?
Yeah,
Here's an idea. When you signed up and they sent you that giant disclosure,
That everyone
did
just
you
clicks
bother to read that, or
accept?
did you just scroll down and click I accept because you wanted to play the damn game?
Yeah, I love doing that when those
Read
EULAs
it
come
then,
up.
asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if
I don't think
you're
I've
gonna
ever
do
read
that,
one
then
in my
read it.
life.
Yeah, I don't read none of that
I
shit.
don't- the thing is it's implied. It's factored in. You're paying for it. They're going to find some way to monetize it. And to be honest with you, half the time, sometimes it's a little creepy when you're at a restaurant or whatever. Then it pops up like something because I don't want to do. But if you're actually looking,
I
if I'm
think
looking
it's
at something-
fascinating. Am I
Yeah, but if I look
crazy?
at something online though, right? Let's say I'm looking at an idea something, and suddenly I start getting all these freaking ads popping up. Well, that saves me time having to search for it to try to buy it.
Yes.
It's
Dude,
convenient.
I don't
All the time
know.
it's
I agree with BV's theory 110%. I'm not that important. Jeff Bezos is not at home twisting dials trying to see what Charles is up to. There's just no way. He doesn't give two shits about a Midwest family. I don't know. But what I always find funny in Steve and BV is all when you kick a hornet's nest that you didn't know was there, and you're like, when you're like, and again, I had this very own experience. I was just like, whoa. whoa, like what just happened? Like, so you're hung up here, but not over there. Yeah, it's crazy.
If Grandma was alive, R.I.P.
Yeah.
She would be a major one. She'd be
Oh,
like,
my God.
and it would be ironic because she's on She was on Facebook.
She was on Facebook
24/7.
Yeah,
But she
loved
would.
it.
She would be.
But if Jeff Bezos, you put an Alexa in the house, don't get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what? You literally post pictures and tell everyone what you're doing.
Yes.
You know what? The convenience far outweighs any little minor negative that might come along with it.
It's a crazy mentality, man. I gotta tell you, but it's just like I said, it was one of those ones. I stepped in some shit and didn't know. I was like, whoa.
All right. Well, it's about fight time, so everyone go out and rent the Tyson Roy Jones Jr. So you
On
can
Fight
see
TV,
Fight
catch that.
TV.
Yeah.
We don't need to promote it. They got enough money. We ain't
Yeah.
worried about them. So, of course, you can catch us at Apple, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere you can find Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts. Check us out on the YouTube channel and Facebook. Stop by, say hi. And of course,
On Facebook, are they allowed to be on YouTube and Facebook?
oh man, I don't know. Well, Google's allowed right now. Facebook's the one that's under heat. Twitter's under heat a lot too.
And again, the Quest is a great device.
I think it is. And if it wasn't for Facebook's money backing them, they wouldn't have got to where they're at. So we'd still have $700 fucking headsets with 10,000 cords coming from it.
Yeah, you'd have that.
Yeah, you'd have this
If
plus
people were
500.
actually being damaged by Facebook, don't you think a whole giant chunk of people would have gotten off it already and stopped using
They
it?
would claim that they have
It's
BV.
Paranoia.
The ones
How
who
is
are
that-
smart have. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
there you go.
I don't know. We're getting back into the tangents. This is funny.
All right. So until next week, go Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, we'll see.
And this is Steve.
And Charles.
Good luck.
Catch you next time.